Well, Mr. Ponto, I'm taking a break from the set of my new motion picture, Christspiracy 2, The Common Section Strikes Back, which will be in pre-production. Will be released April 1st of next year. You guys think I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm going to do something next year that is going to have something to do with what I did this year. It may not be I'm telling you, I'm committed. I want to do this. Anyway, I have a whole year to plan it. Just to shit it out in 2 days like I always do. So 2 days. Right. It's gonna be 2 hours. Anyway. And by 2 hours I mean have 20 minutes. Anyway. Hi everyone. We are experimenting tonight. This is the first of a new thing for the second channel. Feeling cute. Don't know if we'll keep it going. At least for this year we'll keep it going. But essentially, I had this thought last year when I did my best of list with Mr. Ponto here. I was like, there's this sort of mentality that people have who see 5 movies a year that, it's such a bad year for movies. I can't even do a top 10. And I was sitting there like, every quarter of the year has some good shit and some really bad shit. And so I felt like, you know what? We need fodder for the second channel. Why don't we meet up back here? The best and worst of list will be its own thing. And especially this year because our best and worst of thing will be a 3-parter. Because we're going to do the best of, we're going to do the worst of, and then we're going to do the best of the decade so far in February. So, but because we're halfway through the 2020s at the end of this year. Can you believe it?
Oh, how crazy is that? Time flies by. How funny.
Time flies by, and idiots who don't want to stay at home and wear a mask keep us indoors for the majority of the decade.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, if you guys think that joke's bad, if you guys don't like that, you're going to love my number 2 and my number 1. But anyway, so I've decided to... that is why all our lists are locked, or at least mine are, because we are going to be talking about the best films and the worst films we've seen so far in 2024. March is over. It is now April. That means that the first quarter is done, January through March. Now, that being said, there are some ground rules that I want to cover. There are a couple of movies that I have seen outside of prior to their release this year that will be included if the release is forthcoming. What I mean by that is there are a couple of movies that I saw either a year ago or earlier this year that are finally getting a general release in April, so those count. Also, because it had a public screening, but it doesn't come out. One of my worst ofs is an April release, but it had a one-night screening early, like a mystery screening, so it counts. And there are going to be things on here that you don't know because they were added last second. Things are moved. I also not only did that, but also my masthead has not been updated. It will be after tonight because even if you go on my main letterbox and you think you know what my top 4 are, no, don't you think so? It's not going to be what you think. So this is what it is. We're going to talk about the best and the worst so far this year. I have now this year seen 68 films. Well, 69. Nice. I will say, though, the movie I saw today will qualify for the midterm because technically it came out today, so it does not fall into that category, and I saw it today, so it does not, and I'm not reviewing it till tomorrow for this. So, but it will be on one of the lists. Which one? If you can't guess... yeah. Anyway, so, and that's another reason it would spoil it. So, anywho, let us begin. Do you want to jump right in? Because we don't have a whole lot of time. Okay. So, are you doing a top 20 or am I just the one doing a top 20?
Well, are you saying for like the best of or the worst?
Either one. I mean, I'm doing a top 10 for the worst.
Yeah, I'm doing a top 10 as well, but I'm doing a top 15 for the best.
Okay. I am wavering between a top 20 and top 25. I think I'm going to do a top 20 just for brevity's sake. But I do have some honorable mentions. So, do you want me to do my 20 through 16 and then you'll jump in with me after 15? Okay. So let's do that. Honorable mentions?
Go right ahead. I don't really I don't actually really have any honorable mentions because I'm only up to 35 movies at the moment, and my like here's not I'm just gonna go ahead and just say my scale for the moment if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my 1 and 2 are my only 2 5-star films I've given so far this year. That's literally the only 2.
Okay.
My 3 through 13 are my 4.5-star movies. 14 through 16 are my 4 stars.
Okay.
My 17 through 22 are my 3.5-star movies.
Okay.
My number 23 is my only 3 stars so far. 24 and 25 are my 2.5. 26 through 28 are my 2 stars.
2 zip.
Yeah. My 29 is my only 1-star movie, which you'll probably know what it is when we get to it. If anybody knows us too, we'll get to it.
And there will be disagreements, but I want to reiterate this because I know that sometimes the jokes can go a little hard in the paint. I want everybody to understand that this is ribbing, friendly ribbing. Everybody who goes through this gauntlet with me is still friends when it's over. This is all in good fun, and there's a lot of hyperbole involved. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
So
yeah. I want to be like let's have like a little respectful night about our opinions for once.
Yeah.
Just one little respectful night. And then my 30 through 35 are my half-star to 0-star movies.
Damn. All right. So that is a good scale. My 33 through my honorable mentions. Well, my 33 through 26 are 5 stars. My 25 through 1 are 5-star pluses because I've actually given a lot of them already. It's already been a pretty
quite a
good year.
bit already.
Because here's the thing, but a lot of the movies that have been really good this year have not been major movies. It's been a lot of like the smaller movies that you have to kind of look for. And also, I wanted to point out too that a lot of the movies on my list premiered at festivals last year, or the year before, you know the drill, or they've also only showed for like a couple of days to qualify for Oscars in 2023, but by my criteria, they're 2024. So there are a couple of recent Oscar nominees here. They came out in limited release in 2024. They count. Okay.
Yep.
So that being said, do you want me to be in my honorable mentions?
Go right ahead. Bust through them.
So Queen Rock Montreal. This was a dope-ass concert film, IMAX concert film. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. I saw it on vacation. It was one of the, honestly, I counted. I think it was close to 30 movies that I saw, if you count the ones I watched going home on the plane. We watched a lot of shit. And that doesn't even count repeats. Because I saw Fallen Leaves twice on vacation, which was insane. But anyway, 33 is Queen Rock Montreal. Rock on. What more there need to be said? Next up on the honorable mentions, Demon Slayer to the Hashira Training. I know it's technically 2 episodes of the show tied together. I liked this one more than the previous one, however, because the episodes were better. Overall, there was not really any dullness here. It was a lot of fun, and it was fun seeing it with an audience. This is a movie that I've actually kind of gotten some backlash for liking, and I don't really know why, because the critics have liked it. But okay, This Is Me Now, a love story, Jennifer Lopez. I liked it. It's a strange movie. It is. It's out there, but I enjoyed. And I'm not even the biggest J-Lo fan, but I feel like I knew her better when this was done than I did before. And I respect that. Number 30, this is our first disagreement, Ponto. Number 30, Mean Girls. I'm sorry, I had fun.
I will talk about that on my worst of list.
Damn you.
Sorry.
Anyway,
but then again, though, it's probably not going to be. Let me just say this, though. It probably won't be on the worst list later on, but this is just for right now.
Can I ask you this? Is it relatively low on the list, all things considered? It's not like
let me just give you this though. It's not the top 5. It's not the top 5 list.
Ben also didn't like it, so
it just wasn't. I mean, I like the original Mean Girls. I don't have like a special thing for it like a lot of people do, but
it's not as good as the original. I will give you that.
I know. Like I like the original.
It's never going to be.
But just the remake didn't do a whole lot for me. So
here's the thing. The original is part of my personality because I saw it when I was like in 7th grade in the theaters. So I love the original. And my biggest complaint with it is what a lot of people have with the new Mean Girls is that take the songs out of it, it's kind of just Mean Girls. But, however, to be fair, the movie kind of, what I respect about it is it kind of knows it's just like Mean Girls. There's some self-aware kind of meta humor in this too that I liked. But anyway,
fair enough.
Next movie is a movie that I called, in my appraisal of it, partly creepy, and not only the director but one of its subjects liked and retweeted me, and that's Sperm World. This is a bizarre freaking documentary. It just came out. It's relatively recent. It is on FX Network, so I think it's still airing sometimes on that network. For those who have Hulu, however, it is also streaming right now, all the time, on Hulu. So go check that out. It is a fascinating story. It's shot like a fiction movie. If you showed this movie to a person and didn't tell them it was a documentary, they'd be convinced it was a fiction film. Like, it's that level of craft involved in it.
There you go.
Speaking of disagreements with me and Mr. Ponto, number 28 is Spaceman. I feel like I am in a boat by myself in an ocean with this. Me and my cousin Matt and his wife are the only ones who like this movie. I'm sorry. I dug this.
There's other people that like it too, but I'm just not one of them.
I certainly am. I am a champion. First and foremost, Adam Sandler. First, can I also just say, Adam Sandler, welcome back, buddy. We've missed you because your shit has been really good lately. Like dead ass.
I'll just say this though about Spaceman before I talk about it later on.
Yeah.
Sandler is great in the movie. I will give him that.
Undeniably.
He was phenomenal in the film.
So was Carey Mulligan.
Yeah, like I'll give it that. And there's some good visuals. Like I'll give it that. Yeah. Just not for me.
It's not going to be for everyone because it's the kind of movie I won't even give you much shit for disliking it, Tondo, because it is one of those movies, and I know it's pretentious to say this, it is very, very much a movie that's more about vibe than plot. And some people go for the vibe and some people don't. Like, I totally get.
But, I mean, there are other movies that are vibes where I'm like I can enjoy that more, like, because I'm actually vibing with it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, though, I'm morely there for story. Like, that's
fair. I will say this: there is one movie that is definitely a vibe movie that I am pretty confident in saying is on both of our best of lists. So that's your clue.
Okay, I'll think about that.
Spaceman. Hey, guess what? For people who say, and people who tomorrow will tell me, Grant, you don't like faith-based movies. This is the first of 2 examples where I tell you, fuck off. And that is Cabrini. This was really good. Surprisingly really good.
I know the other one. I know the other one coming. Not gonna say it.
Well, because
but it's also gonna be on my list too.
Because I think we agree that it's a good one. And then the next one is a movie that people should have seen, and now it is on streaming, and you should absolutely see it. And that is my number 26, Snack Shack. This is a delightful coming-of-age comedy. This really surprised me, because I went into it like, okay, I kind of know what I'm getting into. This is a movie that has way more depth and heart to it than I expected. And on top of that, it's also a really good coming-of-age film. And it's a movie that has the balls to let its characters not always be the most likable, role model-y people on the planet. It feels realistic to the way young boys are, especially. And not in a way that's like, like misogynistically. I mean, like, it feels realistic to the way, especially boys growing up in the 90s, like ya boy. So, okay, now we get to the final honorable mentions. These are the ones that are the 5-star plus ones where I'm like, in any other moment, these are like the ones that I literally had to cut for brevity. That is all. They would totally be on this list if it wasn't for the 5 other films. And those are Steve Martin, a documentary in 2 pieces. This was even Bill Burr liked it. He just talked about it on his podcast. So go see it. He gave it a ginger-haired thumbs up or whatever his metric is. He also apparently, in that same talk, said he also finally got around to watching the Iron Claw, and he gave it a thumbs up. He thought it was awesome.
Awesome.
Bill Burr, we love you here at Fourth Grant. You're the shit, bro. Anyway, it stinks in here because you're the shit. Anyway, 25, Steve Martin, a documentary in 2 parts by the great Morgan Neville, who never misses. 24 is the other Christian movie, and that's Ordinary Angels, a.k.a.
I will be talking about that.
A.k.a. the better version of the piece of shit I saw today. 23.
I could probably argue that's, like, again, not just spoiling on my list, but I mean, I think I can probably firmly say it's the best faith-based movie I've ever seen.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's the best. It's the best faith-based movie ever, dude. It's so freaking good.
Because it's a movie first, and it doesn't demonize anybody.
Like the only time they really they only reference like God or the Bible or anything like that is only a couple times.
And even so, it's not like they don't have a straw man character that's there to just be like, I don't like your stupid Bible. It's like, no, they go to church. They're God-fearing people, but they're not bad people. They're just trying to save the little girl. And also, the other thing, too, is that Ordinary Angels also benefits from having a shockingly good screenplay written by friend of the channel, Kelly Fremont Craig. Hi, what's up? Who's super nice,
yeah, that definitely helps.
Super duper nice, by the way. Next up, a lot of documentaries on this list as well. William Shatner, You Can Call Me Bill. This got me choked up. It's a crowdfunded doc that is in theaters. It was a theatrical release, but I was like, me and one other older gentleman were in the theater. It was like a matinee, and I was crying like a baby. It was like one of those movies where like he talks about like how much when he dies he wants to be planted like a tree, and I'm just like, I never thought I'd cry over Captain Kirk. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Picard boy. I never thought. No, but great movie, a lot of fun, and also, yes, the title references his cameo on The Big Bang Theory. That alone makes it worth 5 stars. Next up, this is a movie. Oh no. Okay, interference. My apologies. This is a movie. This is what you came for, folks. This is a movie I saw the same day I saw a movie that is in my top 20. This was a great double bill. This is a movie that made my whole day feel a little bit better. And it's on Netflix right now. You can all go watch it. I think it's also still in theaters. The Greatest Night in Pop. I love this movie. This is about the We Are the World thing. And it's also one of 2 movies mentioned here that are kind of a piece. The other one is on the top 20. There's your spoiler. 22, The Greatest Night in Pop, great movie. And then number 21, it was so hard to cut this. This was one of the last movies I saw in Utah. I got to see it early because it was a AMC Scream Unseen. I saw it with my Uncle Harvey. And even he really liked it. And that is Out of Darkness. I
figured it was that movie. One. Like
nobody saw
when you said it was Scream Unseen and you saw it in Utah, I was like, it's that one. Like,
by the way, it didn't make my list, but the last movie I saw theatrically in Utah also was pretty dope, and it was the Hong Kong action movie Robin Roll. If that ever comes on streaming, check that one out. It's actually a lot of fun.
I'll put that one on the list.
It's produced by the Shaw brothers. You know, the guys who did all like those classic martial arts movies. So it's good stuff. So yeah, that's my honorable mentions. Should I just jump right into 20?
Go right ahead, sir.
Number 20 is the most recent addition to this list, and it is also kind of a documentary. Number 20 is They Shot the Piano Player. Sorry, Becca, we're going to disagree on this one. I didn't find this boring at all. Now, I will say this. There is a very good chance you might. It is a slow burn. It is very much a academic exercise. But what I loved about this movie is it's animated and it's kind of a documentary because the people being interviewed in this movie are the real people. But Jeff Goldblum's character is not real. It's a stand-in for the real Jeff Goldblum that he's doing the voice of. It's a Spanish, French, and I believe Brazilian co-production. It's directed by, and it played at Marcus Theaters for one early ass matinee on Monday, but it's been in limited release since February. It's really, really good. It's directed by Fernando Trueba and Javier Mariscal, who previously worked on Chico and Rita, which is great. It's released by Sony Classics. Go check out They Shot the Piano Player. It's a fascinating story about this unsung artist whose life was cut short by political violence. It's something that's genuinely thought-provoking. Number 20, They Shot the Piano Player.
I'll put that one on my radar.
Yeah, I can't promise you'll love it, but it's right up my alley.
But hey, I'm hoping to enjoy it. Like
also, if you're a fan of bossa nova music, this should be, for those watching. If you're a fan of bossa nova music, this should be at the top of your watch list because it's very much a celebration of that era. Nice soda choice, my dude.
Oh, thank you.
Strangely hard to find where I am, even at Walmart.
What? Well, I go to Hy-Vee. I go to Hy-Vee to get my drinks. So there you go.
There you go. Right, you're jumping in at 15. Okay.
That's right.
Number 19 is a movie that has been debated. It's been divisive. And it's kind of sort of a faith-based movie, kind of The Book of Clarence. This was the first movie I saw in 2024. I got to see it a little early. Again, I think it was actually the first Scream Unseen that I didn't have to go to St. Louis.
Screen Unseen, not Scream Unseen.
Right, Screen Unseen. Sorry. They're so similar, right? Like, it's not...
Like, when you said that, I was like, that Book of Clarence is not a horror movie.
Book of Clarence, this is one of those cases where people who like it really like it, and the people who hate it really, really hate it. There's going to be a few of those on this list. I will be the first to admit that the Book of Clarence has messy elements. It has things in it that does not work. I am so glad it exists, and I'm so glad it got a major studio, relatively big budget rollout, wide release. Because movies like this do not get made anymore, and when I mean that, I don't mean old-fashioned kind of movies. I mean movies that have the balls to take the Bible and the story of the Jesus and give it this kind of spin. This really is, while still being, weirdly enough, more of a testament to the powers of faith than many actual faith-based movies, while also saying that Jesus is cool enough that he'll love you no matter what, which should be what these movies are about. And also, the cast is amazing. You got Lakeith Stanfield, you got Tiana Taylor, who is barely in it, but still makes the most of it because she's awesome.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch in the best extended cameo of the year so far. Holy as white.
That was a great cameo. I'll give you that. That was an excellent cameo.
Because the thing is, it's not really a comedy per se, but that is the biggest laugh of the movie. It's like, my dad is going to destroy all of you. He goes, especially that prick doing the painting. And he's like, doing the painting of Jesus. He goes,
that was funny.
That was rad.
But I'll just tell you right now, it's definitely not on my list, but I enjoyed the movie. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah. It's the kind of movie that I think is destined for some kind of cult following. Because it's so
There are two movies that I'm going to talk about on my best sub list that are destined for cult status. I'll talk about them.
Guess what, Luke? They're also on mine. Yeah.
Well, maybe not the one. I know one of them is not on your list, but it's on mine.
Oh yeah.
One of them, but the other one I know is on your list.
I feel like both of them are still going to be on your list too, though. But the one that you're saying, I feel like you have 3. That's all I'll say.
Okay, yeah, 3. There you go, 3.
I don't want to spoil it. So, yeah, number 19, Book of Clarence, directed by James Samuel, who...
But by the way, though, I love The Harder They Fall. That's a great
underrated movie. Go watch The Harder They Fall. Absolutely. Number 18 is a movie that technically has not come out yet. But you won't have to wait too long. It comes out Friday. It's going to be showing, I think, in select theaters and on Apple TV Plus.
Well, I got Apple TV Plus, so I'll be on my radar for it.
Highly recommend it. It's also a sequel. I saw this movie at Sundance. Girl State. This is a sequel to 2020's Boy State, which made my best of list in 2020. Terrific documentary. This is maybe not quite as spectacular as Boy State, but it's perfectly can stand alongside of it. It also helps considerably that the Girl State that they are focusing on, Girl State camp they're focusing on, is basically my backyard. It's literally only a few miles from where I live, which helps. But it's very much of a piece of that, in that you're seeing the modern political landscape in the form of a microcosm of young people, and seeing how they're who are real. I mean, it's a documentary, so you're seeing how they come into their political adulthood, if you will. And it's funny, and it's sweet, and it's wise, and there are heroes and villains. There are villains that end up doing heroic things, and there are heroes who maybe aren't what you expect them to be, and it's exactly what you want. And just like the original, number 18 is Girl State. Check it out. It's coming out on Friday.
I'll keep it on my radar.
Also, the best use of Taylor Swift in a movie since Taylor Swift the Eras Tour.
A good way to
put
it.
That's all I will say. Number 17. This is the first one that better be on your list. I want to use its original title, but I'm afraid I'm going to get demonetized. So I'm just going to call it what the movie seems to want me to call it at the beginning, and that would be Drive-Away Dolls.
That'll be on my list.
AKA, I'll just, fuck it. It's at the end of the movie. I'll just say it. Who was the writer? It was like... that she reads the book for. What was that?
Trisha Cook.
No, not the writer of the movie. The author that she's reading is like it was a guy.
Oh,
that's the full title. It was something like, fuck it, I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
Pause in production here.
We have these men. It is the production title, and it's also the title that appears at the end. So I will qualify it as a official-ish title. Henry James Drive-Away Dykes. That is what they wanted to call it. But they said, you can't put the word dyke on a poster. It's like, fine, we'll call it Drive-Away Dolls. Anyway, it's really... This is one of those movies where either people are like, what the fuck, Coen Brothers? In this expression. And then there's other people who go like, what the fuck, Coen Brothers? You either love this movie or you hate this movie. People I love who I watch this going like, this is going to be right up their alley. We're like, this is the worst piece of dog shit I've ever seen. Our friend, Alex Edwards, a.k.a. the other Chuckle Fucks McGee. Sorry, Alex.
Chuckle Fucks McGee number 2.
Told me, and I quote, how dare you recommend this softcore pornography to people? How dare you? I'm just like, dude... You act like it's a fucking Lars von Trier movie. Calm the fuck down.
This is Ethan Coen, bro.
What's up?
There you go.
What is up, my homies? Anyway. It's literally, do you ever watch that video of what is it, like Black Panther opens, white guy indifferent? It's like, what's up commercial, white guy indifferent. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm just drinking this tap water here.
Fucking A.
Anyway, you got a bud, bro? I'm like, nah, I'm just drinking this water. It's a Coke Zero, like Scott Pilgrim. That's a what? It goes, it's a movie. Oh, yes. Like, did you see Black Panther, sir? He goes, no, I saw 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Frances McDormand is great, as always.
Yes.
I like that movie, too. I like both those films. Anyway, number 17, yeah, Drive-Away Dolls. It is a sexploitation comedy throwback. Also, Alex, I don't mean to be that guy. I'm going to call you to the carpet. If this were a man and a woman doing these things and not 2 women... you wouldn't say it's softcore pornography. Let's just be real about it.
Yeah.
Come on, brother. There's a little bit of... I don't know. There's a little bit of... I don't know. Number 17, Driveway Dolls. And then finally, number 16, or number 15B, if you want to go there. And I kind of do. This is a movie that did not make... Well, actually, it did make my list. Never mind. It is top 20, right? So number 16... Hey, Luke. Before I do number 16, I want to do an impression of someone. If you'll... Suvi. Woo! Oh, hey there, Zelda. I gotta say, as your father, I'm really, really proud of you. Oh, Lisa Frankenstein.
Let's go. That was perfect. That's way higher on mine, but I will talk about it.
The sort of sequel to Jennifer's Body we all needed is finally here, y'all.
Yes.
And that's not an exaggeration. Diablo Cody retroactively said it is in the same universe, so there you go. That it's a prequel. So I loved this movie. If we're talking movies that are like personal favorites that I'm gonna watch multiple times, this would be like top 5. Like, that's how good it is.
Nice. Good picks.
That's a pretty good pick, and the other one's Godzilla and Kong, but that's all fine and good.
Speaking on disagreements.
I disagree, Gary. Anyway, speaking of movies that Adam Sandler should be making, but yeah, Lisa Frankenstein is, if Tim Burton would applaud this movie.
I know he would. This is basically. I'll elaborate more on it when I talk about it, but this is like.
There you go.
This is like if Tim Burton like somewhat made Hellraiser in a lot of ways.
It feels like this is the closest I've seen another filmmaker in a really long time get to doing what is clearly an homage to Tim Burton that understands the romanticism of his films and how much love he clearly has for the weirdos that his movies are about. And this is... Zelda Williams loves the weirdos. You can feel it in every... and
it's perfect in every way.
It is. And this movie also has a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. This will be a cult classic. The people, you know who you are, the weirdos like us, will hold tight to the physical copies of this movie like our infants. I mean, it's that kind of movie. Is this a movie that is going to be charming me forever? I love this movie. This is a future Halloween classic, and we'll be talking about another one later on.
And also, we'll clarify that the Blu-ray for Lisa Frankenstein is out next week. So if you guys want to go
buy it now
pick it up,
before they erase it.
so if you guys are believers in physical media, go get it. Please go get it.
Also, the most R-rated PG-13 since Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and that's a positive thing.
I mean, I do kind of wish it was rated R. That'd be like a slight like nitpick against it, but then it's like for the most, but it's like I can give it a pass. Like for also, I can give it a pass.
I could not imagine a more perfect needle drop to play when you were going to castrate a douchebag in my life. Like, oh my god. On the Wings of Love, while someone is taking an axe to someone's Johnson, is the funniest freaking thing. Cock shadow. Anyway, so yeah. Also, I also want to give a shout out before we move on to the Liza Soberano, who is great, by the way. Fuck you, Ben Wilk. Who says this movie's great, except for the sister. She's irritating. Fuck you, Ben.
Yeah, what?
I want to call out the fans of, I guess this is her first real American thing, and she's a big hit in the Philippines. To the fangirls who made that one of my most liked tweets when I gave this movie 5 stars, thumbs up to all of you. Thank you for that. You guys are...
Yes.
Are rad. Where was that kind of love from the Christ-spiracy haters? I'm waiting. Fuck you and the cow you rolled in on that I'm gonna make into a hamburger just to spite you. Anyway.
Yes.
And okay. We'll get there. We will fucking get there. Anyway. So, do you want to do number 15 and then I'll bounce you in, or do you want to do your number 15?
I'll do my number 15 because I don't really have too much to say about this one.
Okay.
I do want to watch this one again though, but it's on my list for now. It's definitely not going to maintain on the list by the end of the year. Like, I'll give you that. Yeah. But I enjoyed my time going to see this in the theater, and every single time I think about it, I still tend to like it. It is Bob Marley, One Love.
I enjoyed it. I agree.
Yeah, very enjoyable biopic. The performances in this film by Lashana Lynch and Kingsley Ben-Adir really elevate this movie.
Especially Lashana Lynch. She is
terrific. Also, the concert sequences in the film, they are performed so magnificently. Mm-hmm. Like, they're so well done. The movie's well shot. It's well acted. It's well directed.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But there are some issues with the film that I have. I think the film is way too slow because the film is like almost an hour 47. It feels like it's 2.5 hours to me.
Now, as you know, Ponto, that's one of our biggest disagreements. I also enjoyed the film. My issue was it seemed to be a little rushed, honestly, considering who it's about. It felt as short as it was. It felt short.
Yeah, but like, if they made the film longer, here's my thing. If they made this film longer, they should have at least evened out the pacing, because some parts of the pacing for this movie was just like, okay, we're going to slow down a couple parts. We're going to slow down. Okay, pick back up, slow down. And I'm like, okay, this movie's not making up its mind with its pacing. And
I agree. I agree to some extent. I feel like, especially the last hour or so, was really rushed. Like they talk about his infidelity, and I only realized going back and thinking about it, the only hint we had that he was unfaithful was like a couple of frames of a montage. Like, they rushed through that. So when it comes out, there's like a big scene where a great scene where she's telling him that, you done fucked up, right? Bye-bye, wish you luck with life. She's telling him that stuff.
Yeah, and
it's raw. It doesn't feel like, wait a second, what is she? That's a great speech. Oh yeah, the montage. It's so fast.
And it also has some really weird. But the pacing is really my biggest issue. But another issue I really have with this film is the time jumps. The time jumps for this film really don't make any sense to me. Okay, now we're gonna go back to when they were kids. Now we're gonna go back to modern times when they were kids. Back to modern times, and I'm like, okay, if you really wanted us to be more invested with that kind of stuff, you should have started that shit from the beginning.
Yeah, I feel that, and I do feel like, okay, I think that someone really, really, really liked the whole motif of him, and it's a good shot of him like running away through the fields as the guy with the rope is chasing him, and I was like, that's a cool idea. They kind of leaned on the button a little too much and put that in a little too much over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's like, we get it. He's running from himself. He's running from his inner child. We get it.
But then again, though, like I said, if this film was about 2.5 hours, I would welcome it. Just even out the pacing.
Yeah. But I also think it's too short to cover a life as important as, and I think it also probably is hurt a little bit by the fact that this is approved by the survivors of his life. Like, the movie in my screening was introduced by his son, the real guy. It's just kind of like, okay, this is the studio-approved thing. And sometimes I think you got to be careful with that. Like, Straight Outta Compton, I felt like, was the closest I've seen a movie that is approved by at least a majority of the key people involved, but it had a sense of, like, it criticized the actions of some of its members in a way that felt realistic. Whereas it wasn't trying to sanctify NWA in the way that I think Bob Marley is kind of sanctified here.
Yeah.
Which kind of takes me out of it. But yeah.
I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. So, but again, it could go down a rewatch, but as it stands right now, I dug it. So,
you know what's very strange? Your number 15 kind of dovetails a little bit perfectly with mine. Number 15, speaking of movies that use One Love by Bob Marley in the film, number 15 is a movie that nobody's heard of. I think it's on Paramount Plus, or it's going to be. Number 15, Kiss the Future. This was a documentary about the putting together of a benefit concert of the war-torn Bosnian country, or the town of Sarajevo, and it's about how the people working the closed circuit were trying to get U2 to come, and it was about sort of the weight of the responsibility of Bono and those guys coming there. The film is produced, and also reckoning with the fact that maybe with really listening to the criticism of like, what is doing a rock show here going to really do for the people who are like impoverished? And they really have Bono talking very openly about how I didn't feel like what we were doing was all that important, because in a strange way, they're absolutely right. What does doing a concert do when you don't know how you're going to feed your family? And
Right.
really terrific documentary. It's produced by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Matt Damon.
Okay.
Produced the film. When I saw it in Dolby, I was the only one in the theater. Only one. So, yeah, Kiss the Future. It's on Paramount Plus. Go check it out. Really terrific documentary. It's my number 15.
I'll put that on the list. I mean,
Yeah.
when I heard U2 in the name, because I'm actually a huge fan of U2.
Oh, yeah.
They're one of my favorite bands. So I'm like, okay, I have to put this on my radar. Like,
but here's the thing: it's not a concert movie, and that's
I know
what I
it's a documentary.
But it's more about the people who, in the situation, like the performance element of it doesn't really come into play until toward the end of the movie. But then again, when it does become a concert movie, I am sorry. I know that U2 has a lot of haters, but you cannot tell me after
Not me.
Right, but you cannot tell me after watching that movie, seeing Bono belting out "Where the Streets Have No Name" to a screaming audience of people who had not been really able to be in the same room with each other for years because of their political oppression. You cannot tell me that's not a powerful, moving moment. Like, come on.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. It's also a great song, too, "Where the Streets Have No Name." It's one of my favorites.
It's great. But, all right, number 14.
Number 14.
Probably, actually, no. This is probably the second most overhated film of the year, in my opinion, for no reason whatsoever. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
I liked it, too. I agree.
Yeah. So, I dug this movie. As a huge Ghostbusters fan, I could not be any happier with what they got, what they gave us. But that's not to say this is perfect. There is quite a few issues with this movie.
It's far from perfect. Yeah, I agree.
Example, this film has a bit too many plot lines going on for one movie, even especially for the runtime that this movie goes for. Like, this movie has a bit too many plot lines just shoved in there. Like,
Agreed.
But I mean, there is still some fun characters, though. I mean, I can give it that. And also, I mean, I sound like a broken record when it comes to saying stuff like this with some of my nitpicks. I think the movie's actually a little bit too long. But then again, but here's my thing, though. I know I said it's too long and there's a bit too many plot lines shoved in there. But here's the thing, though. If they simplified it a little bit more and cut down some of the runtime, I think you would have had a much better movie. Because there are some subplots that are thrown in this film where I'm like, okay, you could have done better without that. Like,
I agree. I think my biggest issue with the film overall was, well, first and foremost, too many plots. It does end up becoming a sort of, then this happens, and then this happens, and then this person comes. But what I liked about it was there were a few plots that I thought stood out that should have been the main ones. For instance, I thought the queer representation was phenomenal. The stuff with Phoebe and the ghost. But that stuff worked.
Yeah, her ghost friend. Like, yeah, that was a great plot line.
All the stuff with Kumail Nanjiani worked, and his backstory worked for me.
I mean, and I love Kumail Nanjiani. So I mean, I was already sold from him being in the movie from the first place. Like,
but like what he does and how he functions in the plot beyond just his being charming, funny Kumail Nanjiani, like how he actually his arc in the story. I also thought Patton Oswalt was really good. He was kind of underused because I love Patton Oswalt.
Very underused, but I thought with what he was given though, like I thought he was great.
If
For
you
sure.
haven't seen it yet, watch his episode on Red Letter Media of Best of the Worst, where he shows up and he's like getting hammered because he just is so at the end of it. Okay, real quick aside. At the end of this episode, he does the Best of the Worst, and he talks about how he's just like sitting there and he goes, "Before we begin, can we pause? Because I'm gonna need another one of these." And he like holds up his empty shot glass and he goes, "Do you regret being here now?" He goes, "Man, I really do." It's like, I had a show tonight. I should have been home with my kid, and I stayed. I fucking stayed. This is a. And he goes, "I stayed." He goes, "Keep all of this in the shot, by the way. I just want to let everybody know. If any other famous people, any other comedians want to be like, oh, I want to get with the kids, and I want to do the YouTube thing. Fuck that. Fuck you. This is a nightmare." It's just a string of bleeps, and it just cuts to Mike and Jay just like just frozen, and then it's just like he just goes and goes. It's great.
But also, people saying that the Frozen stuff doesn't happen until like the last 10 minutes.
It's true.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But the rest of the film is still entertaining. Like
someone who liked the film gave a really good description of it to me that actually made me like the movie more. And they said that it doesn't necessarily fully work as a Ghostbusters movie, but it works as like a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife. But it does work really well if you look at it as a live action adaptation of the Ghostbusters cartoon from the 80s. And I kind of feel that way.
Like, and also like it's a good way. And also, what I liked about this film is that it was good on expanding the lore of Ghostbusters, like a little bit more, because Afterlife was just more like a good interest a new story. This one's a good expansion on the Ghostbusters lore.
Ghostbusters Afterlife to me worked because it succeeded at its main function, which is what I call the Force Awakens principle. It's like, yes, it repeats a lot of the same stuff, but the thing is that it had to remind us we loved this franchise again so that they could move forward. And in that regard, I thought it succeeded in the same way that Force Awakens did. And this is coming from someone who actually kind of likes the 2016 one and doesn't understand all the hate it gets. I think yeah.
The movie is not good per se, but it's fine. Like, it's nothing it's not something to write home about, to be honest with you.
It's not a masterpiece or anything, but the way that the whole internet came together to be just fucking retarded about it and exaggerating it because it was women kind of pissed me off.
And I don't think it's not good in that sense. I just don't find the movie very funny.
Well, I'll say this. It is kind of one of those situations where it's like you have a movie full of comedic heavyweights, and the person who gets the most laughs is Chris Hemsworth. It is kind of
that's the weird thing about that movie.
No.
But we can move on though. But
also,
yeah, 14 Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This was a ton of fun.
Oh, I agree. Also, Leslie Jones was easily the best of the comedic heavyweights in that. That was just awful.
Piss off the ghost.
Well, also the way that people treated her in particular with the racist stuff and the Twitter trolling. Just go fuck yourselves, all of you.
The power of Patty compels you. I can't lie though. That scene when she slaps the ghost on Melissa McCarthy was pretty funny. That got a good laugh out of me.
The biggest laugh I got that wasn't from Hemsworth, because everything Hemsworth said was fucking hilarious in that movie. I'm sorry. Was when the little winged thing is on there and she's kind of stiff and he goes, he goes, "It's okay. I'm tired. I'm just gonna go." There's a pterodactyl ghost on her. Anyway, so number 14.
All right.
Hey, Luke.
What?
Imagine me as Sydney Sweeney wearing a habit, okay?
I know what it
is. Immaculate. So.
Yeah, that was pretty good, dude.
Oh, I almost forgot. Oh, my demon baby. So
But also, I think you might know the fun facts I'm going to tell you, but I'll wait until you're done with the movie.
All I will say on this movie is, first off, it was actually creepy. There were maybe a few too many jumps. I will say at the beginning there was a bit too many jump scares. That is all I will say. But it was actually creepy. It actually had balls in a way that a lot of movies, mainstream horror, even any movie does. And also, it's a sexy nun movie starring Sydney Sweeney. Do I need to say more? And also, it'll piss off the anti-women chuds. So that's another thing.
Yep.
It says that, yeah, sometimes, you probably should. Sometimes abortions are a good thing, especially if your child has the potential to destroy mankind. Maybe that's okay. Anyway.
Right, yeah.
Number 14, Immaculate. It's really good. It's still in theaters now, so go see it. It's really good.
Okay, so fun fact I wanted to tell you about Immaculate. So,
yeah,
we know that Sydney Sweeney's character is pregnant throughout the film. She actually, so she had to wear a fake belly for most of it.
Yeah.
She actually filled her fake belly up with snacks. Because if you guys watch the Tonight Show, she said, because Jimmy asked her about that, like how she said she really enjoyed it because she found out it was a great place to put snacks.
Hey Mike, are you watching?
And like what? Like when she said that, I was like, "Oh my god, I love you."
Sydney, baby, if you're watching, first off, you're the perfect woman, just for that. Second off, I know that Mike doesn't treat you well. Meet me at dawn. We'll run away together. But
yes.
But Grant, your friendship. I don't care. I'll fucking break the sound barrier for you. Anyway, no, that is the greatest. That is the most amazing use of a prosthetic I can imagine. Thank you for that. That genuinely, that solidified.
Yeah, like when I found that out, I was like seriously, like when I watched that clip on Instagram, like I'll send it to you, later. But when she said that, I was like, girl, use something else. I tell you, use something else. Like,
it reminds me of that. I think it was that meme from Anchorman where he's like what you're doing, it's working. I like it. I want to be friends with it.
Yes.
Anyway.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch Immaculate whenever I get the chance.
Yeah.
It'll be on streaming soon, so like once it goes up for rent, I'll be able to watch it.
It's the sexy nun movie of all of our dreams. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it has one of the sexiest women alive in Sydney Sweeney, so there you go.
And I think it might be the first nun-esque horror movie that actually says, hey, Catholics kind of fucking suck, don't they? And considering someone who had to be raised in that religion, I can wholeheartedly say that # not all Catholics. I'm not saying Catholic people. The Catholic Church institution kind of sucks.
Yeah, there you go. Good way to put it, buddy. Okay, so number 13. Here we go. Another disagreement from Grant and I. Arthur the King.
Fuck you!
I'm sorry, man, but this movie, this movie charmed me. Like, I got some good stuff out of it. Like, I thought the performances were great.
You're easy to please, damn it.
Shut the fuck up, man. I told you to be respectful.
My name is Luke Fonto. I see Dog and I see Wahlberg. I click.
Okay, shut the fuck up, man. I told you to be respectful, man.
Okay, sorry. You're wrong, but sorry. Go ahead.
I said respect.
Go ahead.
My only my only couple of issues with this movie, I thought, were some shots for this film that were kind of really weird with the way that they were handling the camera.
Shaky
it's like,
cam? Oh yeah.
No, not the shaky cam. I'm talking about like with some of the stuff that's like on the. You remember the zip line scene?
Yeah, but that was of a piece with me. The cinematography was terrible in that movie.
But there were still some good shots, though. Like, I will give it that. There were still some good shots.
When?
But I don't know, man. This movie really tugged at my heartstrings. I can't lie to you. Good performances, a great dog.
I agree with you about the dog. The dog was good. I like the dog.
And but also there are some lines of dialogue that I felt like were forgotten later on. But overall, like as a movie, though, it got me. So.
Okay, that fair enough. I have to say one thing because we will be discussing this later, and you can probably tell where it's going to be for me. Can we acknowledge? First off, I agree with you about the dog. Too bad the movie wasn't really about the dog. But secondly, can we acknowledge that there is one major plot point in this movie that is brought up casually once that needed to be addressed again and never was, and kind of makes the character look less good because of it. Can we at least agree on that? You know what I'm talking about.
I know what scene you're talking about, yeah. but then again, though, like it's not like a huge knock against the movie for me, though.
He lied. I mean, okay, he lied by omission. He didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I lied about something you really can't fucking lie about to have any kind of healthy relationship. Like, I'm sorry. It's just that is a case of like that just kind of makes me not like you when you do things like that. Because I know people who do those kind of things who I don't talk to anymore, who are kind of like
so
narcissistic in that way. But anyway, that's just me. Maybe I'm weird. Anyway,
I don't know, but just.
Anyway.
Again, I like the movie quite a bit, so that's just the way I am.
I agree with you. Great dog. If I met that dog, I would give him all the milk bones. It's just too bad the movie around him didn't work as well for me. Yeah.
So, but yeah, number 13. I'm saying Arthur the King.
Last thing I'll say on it before it's my turn to talk about it. As Mark Kermode said, I really do think this is a perfect quote. I should have liked this. I like dogs. I love dogs. Maybe I just don't like people. It's kind of true.
Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, hold on a second. I gotta fuckify this stupid.
Right.
Oh, by the way, in case you guys haven't noticed, this video is not for children. Fuck cunt biscuit. Dick cheese. Fuck wall.
Have you ever heard of low jack cheese dick?
What?
Have you ever heard of low jack cheese dick?
Yep.
What's that from?
I can't think of it.
It was Sex Drive.
Dude, I haven't seen Sex Drive like since it came out. I saw it at least once since it came out, but
check out Time Dick Cheese.
I remember What's His Nuts and the other What's His Nuts, the two little dweeby kids. They were hilarious. The fucking like, so sweetie, where do you live? Goes like, do you wear thong underpants?
Fucking hold on. Fuck stick, I wouldn't let you drive the Judge if it was parked on my schnuts.
Who am I thinking of those two freaking little twerpy kids? Those like Andy and Randy or whatever the fuck. Like
I think so, but I haven't seen the film in about a year, but I need to watch it again though because that's one of my favorite comedies.
That is, if you cannot tell me those aren't the spawn of fucking Jay from the Jay and Silent Bob movies. Like I'm sorry.
Yes.
like it just reminds me of that bit from Clerks where he's standing on he's like, and now we're gonna get some weed, man. We're gonna get some chicks, bro. I'll fuck this bitch. I'll fuck that bitch. I'll fuck anything that moves. All I could think about when I was watching those two. Anyway, so what number are we on? Because I am hopelessly lost.
I just did my number 13.
Number 13. Unlucky 13. Number 13 is apparently another movie where critics generally like it, and general audiences generally hate it, and they tell me very loudly, including people who I am close with. I'm sorry. I like this director. I like him as a lead actor in this. I like the movie. Good grief. I genuinely like this movie a lot. I related to it. I found it really moving. I genuinely thought the way that it portrayed friendship and how especially important friends are when you're going through the loss of a loved one really resonated with me in a way that I can't really quantify. It felt real. It felt honest. even the ending, and some people complain to me, oh, the ending wasn't satisfying. I'm like, guess what? I hate to break it to you. Real life is not satisfying. That's why you think
and another thing is nobody ever said life was fair. So
no, and see that's the thing is that the movie is a movie that is kind of real, that is realistic. So it wouldn't necessarily end tied up. Asking it to do so would go against. If it did that, it would have hurt the movie for me. I actually appreciated that they stuck to their guns and really made the movie feel like real life. So yeah, number 13, Good Grief. I loved it. Sorry.
I'll check it out. It's on my list. So I'm
yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
I thought you'd seen it already.
I thought I was going to, but then time just got away from me.
Oh,
but I promise I will get to it. I promise.
So like me with Ricky Stenicki and Damsel, which I still have not seen. I need to. I'm
Ricky
sorry.
Ricky Stenicki was fine. It was but I'm gonna be watching Damsel with Mike here pretty soon. So.
I'm gonna watch Ricky Stenicki for one major reason. It's that I'm a Fairley Brothers completist, so I have to watch Ricky Stenicki.
I wanted to give it a try and see how it was, and it was fine. I got a couple of laughs. There was good performances, and it was well made.
I heard
not a very memorable movie though.
I heard that it's not Golden Age Fairley, but it's not dumpster fire Fairley either. It's not.
No, it's not a dumpster fire. It's very middle of the road. Like
it's more Stuck on You than Dumb and Dumber 2. I got you.
But I like Stuck on You. That's a funny movie.
Oh no, I do too. But I really like Stuck on You actually. But it's not one of their very best movies though. It's not like up there with. To me, the holy trinity for the Fairley Brothers always will be, Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin, and There's Something About Mary. Like those are the 3 funniest movies I've seen ever.
Fair enough. But number 12, speaking on Netflix. Funny enough, my next 2 movies are Netflix movies.
Super.
So, number 12, this was a limited release in 2023, but it came to Netflix in 2024, so it counts. Society of the Snow.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list.
Grant, you are missing out, dude. You need to check it out. It's not going to be a watch all the time kind of movie, but definitely watch it at least once.
You know what's funny? My mom has seen it, and she told me the exact same thing, that it was really good, and I should watch it.
But again, it's not a watch all the time kind of movie, but it's definitely one you should watch once.
I heard it's a stone cold bummer, but it's worth watching if you like movies.
Absolutely. J.A. Bayona directed this movie. The guy that did A Monster Calls, The Impossible, and Fallen Kingdom. I don't want to talk about that shit.
And The Orphanage. I will not.
I've never seen The Orphanage, but I've seen the other 3 films I mentioned, because The Impossible is one of my favorite movies.
A Monster Calls is one of my favorite movies. Eds. I love that movie. I'm in that fan.
Monster Calls and The Impossible are terrific. Like
I was in a theater. This is how good A Monster Calls was. I was in a theater. I was the only one in the theater when I saw that movie. It was like the first night it was at my theater. I actually saw it the same day I saw Collateral Beauty. So I saw one shitty movie about grief and one great movie about grief in the same night. I was bummed out for different reasons about dead people. But the thing is, like, A Monster Calls. I was the only one in the theater. The last hour of the movie, I was weeping like a child, and at one point, and it was at that point when Sigourney Weaver finally comes around as the grandma and is like trying to comfort the kid and they're grieving together, when I literally instinctively, forgetting that other people were around, went, "Oh, fuck you!" like out loud, like thinking someone was snickering at me. I'm like, "Oh right, I'm the only one here."
That's funny, but
Love that.
But yeah, for anybody that's not seen Society of the Snow, this dude, please check it out. I would highly recommend checking this one out. Again,
I'll have to
not one you're gonna watch over and over, but it's one of those films you have to watch at least once.
I heard it's basically the same, based on the same thing that Alive was about, but it did it better.
I've never seen Alive, but I'm pretty sure. But I already know this one did it better. So
I have to say, I have seen Alive, and as shitty as that movie is, I'm glad it exists, because on the Ted TV show, it was one of the funniest scenes where they're debating whether or not they'd eat a person if they were desperate enough. It was like the young John and Ted, and he goes, "I mean, I wouldn't." He goes, "You'd eat a person?" I'm like, Let me explain. He goes, please do. And he's like describing the scenario. It's like, no, dude, not on my own volition, but like if we were stranded in the mountains or something. It was really funny.
Yeah, so yeah, my number 12 is Society of the Snow.
Awesome. I haven't seen it.
I'm also glad it got nominated for Best International Feature Film. It deserved it. It was well deserved.
All right. That's 13. Yes.
That's 12. That was 12.
Fucking numbers. How do they work? All right. No, number 12. This is the part of the video where what's his name from the Jesus chat line will go, God damn it! They fucking called again. Anyway, for 12. Carrie, God damn it. Number 12, God damn it, Bobby. Number 12. I don't know, God damn it. God damn
Stop.
it.
Let's move on.
Anyway, that is Gemini Man if it starred Nick Nolte. Thank you, Jesse Shade from Awfully Good Movies. Number 12 is a movie I also saw in the last calendar week. Okay, full disclosure. I saw the first 10 minutes of this movie twice. Because I saw the first 10 minutes, something strange came up, I had to leave the theater, and I always make a vow, I never do it, and if I do, I always go back and see the rest of it. So, after I put out my fire, I stayed for the later show, stayed up a little past my bedtime to see the whole thing. I'm glad I did. Number 12, In the Land of Saints and Sinners. This is the best Neeson movie since Taken, maybe since Kinsey. Like, it's that good of a movie. Because it's not an action movie. This is almost more like Unforgiven than a standard particular set of skills movie.
A very particular set of skills.
Also, if you guys have not seen the freaking video of him playing the Easter Bunny, that is the funniest fucking shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Why do you think he carries around a carrot? He can chomp it down into a shiv.
Yep.
Also, my response to that is ... Yes, please make Peter Cottontail the gritty reboot starring Liam Neeson. I will go broke seeing it. Anyway, I'm still waiting for the dudes who made Daddy's Home 2 to finally make fucking Mistletoe a real movie. Come on, Sean Anders. Is that the guy? Yeah, Sean Anders. Make that shit. I'm waiting. The best part of Daddy's Home 2 is to put the idea out into the universe of a family action comedy where on Christmas where Liam Neeson has to tow a missile to the Pentagon while being hunted by terrorists with his kids. Mistletoe. Come on. That is amazing. Make it happen. Anyway.
That is some funny shit.
So yeah, number 12, In the Land of Saints and Sinners. Also, Jack Gleason in his best performance, unless you think Joffrey is watchable from Game of Thrones, because apparently a lot of people do. I don't. Anyway, yeah, number 12, yeah. In the Land of Saints and Sinners. It's really good. Also, Carrie Condon, All Is Forgiven. You know what you did. We'll talk about you later.
Yeah, you both will.
You're a good actor. Keep making movies like this and less movies like the one we'll get to. Number 12,
Very
The Land of Saints and Sinners. All right.
So number 11. Speaking
number
on
11.
Netflix movies. Another Netflix movie.
Okay.
And another good one, might I add. We missed you, Charlie Kaufman. Welcome back. Orion in the Dark.
Hey, Luke. Want to kill two birds? It's also my number 11.
Let's go.
Orion in the Dark, baby.
Oh my god, dude.
Best DreamWorks movie evs, maybe? I think so.
Not my personal favorite, but
ooh,
there's ones that I like more than this one, like for sure.
It's definitely the best one they've done this year. That's for sure so far.
Maybe not. I'll get to that in here in just a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay,
but
you
yeah.
say Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate.
No.
Oh, right. They made another movie this year. Man, they've made a lot of movies already.
But yeah, Orion in the Dark.
Oh, I'm stretching.
A
Sorry.
great children's film. A movie that the parents can watch with their kids and have a good time. Voice acting is great. The animation's stunning. I love our main character of Orion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't really put it into words how good this movie was, man.
I'm so glad. I agree. I'm so glad they let Charlie Kaufman. They gave him the keys to a kids movie and said, "Hey, I know we're DreamWorks. I know we're very much about celebrity voices. We're DreamWorks. Go and make. You're Charlie Kaufman. You're making a children's movie. Go make a Charlie Kaufman movie for kids." They really let him do his thing and make something existential and weird and offbeat and meta. You know what it makes me feel like? This is my impression of every kid who will grow up reading this as a bedtime story to their kids. All right, Junior. Like, good night. We're all gonna die, Synecdoche. Because that's what it feels like. It's that. It's Synecdoche.
Yeah, it's what it feels like, man.
It's Synecdoche, New York for children. And I mean that as a positive. It will not be for everyone. It actually has the balls to kind of not be for everyone. It's kind of off the beaten path, and I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, both our number 11s are Ryan in the Dark. That's funny.
Yeah, this is the one that goes straight to Netflix. God damn you, DreamWorks.
But hey.
No.
But hey, we still at least got to see the movie, so.
I will say this, the next DreamWorks movie looks kind of fucking awesome, that Wild Robot. If it's
anything, the Wild Robot. That one might overtake it. That one might overtake my personal favorite DreamWorks movie of the year, which leads into my number 10, Kung Fu Panda 4. That is right. My number 10 is Kung Fu Panda 4.
I enjoyed it. I wouldn't go that far. But I know that you have sentimental attachment.
I don't know. Like,
I like the film.
Maybe it's just because I love the Kung Fu Panda franchise so much. Like,
it has to be. Respectfully, it has to be. Look, I liked the film. It's not like Chicken Run, like where they actually made a good movie this time, but
okay, we can move on from that shit.
All right.
But Kung Fu Panda 4 was just a nice breath of fresh air for DreamWorks after we had to suffer through Megamind 2, whatever the fuck that was.
Oh, that was the worst.
This was like a nice breath of fresh air. And it was a good experience in the theaters. I mean, it was great to see Jack Black back as the character of Po. I love seeing some of the older characters back of his family. But I also loved quite a bit of the new characters. Zen, voiced by Awkwafina, was an awesome new addition to this franchise.
She was good, but I have to say that is one of my biggest problems with this movie. And I liked the film overall. I think it's the weakest of the four, but I overall still pretty much liked it. My one thing I will say about it is this. I really missed the rest of the Furious Five. They were sorely... There was a gap.
That's not really much of a knock for the film for me, though, because I was still enjoying my time. Like... And also, my only, But my real nitpick with this film is the villain of the Chameleon, voiced by Viola Davis. Which, by the way, she's great in the film. Like, I'll give her that. Like, she's having a blast.
She's Viola Davis.
But her villain was not very compelling. It's just another power-hungry villain.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I feel the way about her as I did about, and again, terrific actress. What's her name from, that actress, what's her name? She played the villain in the Marvels. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't know her name though, but I know the villain you're talking about. Yeah,
where it's like the movie's a lot of fun, but the villain is, I'm a villain because we need one. Like, there's no other reason. It's just like, I'm the villain because...
because the Chameleon is just this power-hungry villain that just wants all the powers of Poe's, like, past arch enemies. Like...
Yeah.
Just so she can take him down, but then it's like, okay, why couldn't we just bring back Tai Lung and have him be the main villain instead? Like
that's the other thing too, is that, first and foremost, the fact that Viola Davis is good in this movie is the equivalent of saying, hey, did you know that Viola Davis is great in this movie? I also want to remind you that the sky is blue and the grass is green. Like, people know. Viola Davis, even when Viola Davis doesn't give a shit, she's still Viola Davis. She gives 100%.
Exactly. And
She's
again,
the best
some
actress
great.
ever.
Yeah. And again, great animation like always from DreamWorks, except if you're talking about Megamind, but let's move on.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, we'll both be talking about that later. But
we will both be talking about that later.
But with this one, some great animation and some awesome fight sequences. Like, some of the fight sequences of this film were so much fun to watch.
I agree with you on the one thing that is a constant in every Kung Fu Panda movie that I have to say is the people who animate these films really do have a love for kung fu movies. Like, you can just feel it in the choreography that they've done there.
And also, one thing I like about this movie is that it's not just the same shit over again with the other three. Like, the thing I like about the Kung Fu Panda franchise is that every installment feels fresh and new. It doesn't feel like the same shit done over again.
And like, each one of them learns,
like, they build up on something new.
Like, right, well, that's what exactly. The reason I love it is that it does. The reason I love all the Kung Fu Pandas is that, unlike some sequels, I'm looking at you, Shazam, too, it doesn't have the characters unlearn every lesson they've learned in the movie prior so that another movie can happen. They're smart enough to find a path to take the characters on that's, if not fresh, at the very least, is not a betrayal of who that character is, which I appreciate.
But I also do want to say, though, it was nice to see Dustin Hoffman back as Master Shifu.
Yeah, where has that guy been? He kind of hasn't done a lot lately. That's true.
But I mean, but the real reason why you go to see these Kung Fu Panda movies is not just because of just the franchise itself. You're there to see it for Jack Black.
Jack Black, and also I'll just say that this movie in particular is worth the price of admission alone just for the Tenacious D cover of Hit
Me Baby One More Time. That's right.
That made the whole thing worth it. I will say this.
I mean, even when the credits were going and the song was playing, Justin and I actually got up and danced. Like, we didn't know. Like, we were all the way in the back row, dude. That was amazing.
I was confess. I'm like, hell yeah, Jack Black confesses, baby.
But yeah, my number 10 is Kung Fu Panda 4, dude. I had a blast with this movie.
I have to say, here's my other thing, and it's not a knock on her because, as we've established, anybody who is a friend of the channel, not named Ben Wilkie, loves her. But I do think Awkwafina, I want her to try to do some roles a little outside of her box more. Like, more of the farewells and less of, I'm the wisecracking animated sidekick, please. Because Awkwafina's better than that, and I feel like lately she has to kind of settle for being, hey, I'm Awkwafina, I'm crazy, and I'm goofy, and I make
but I still love her style of comedy.
I do too, but like when you see it on her TV show where she's basically playing herself, it's really funny, and I can buy it. And again, I'm not trying to knock her. Between this and Raya, which is another movie I liked, and Migration, which I very much didn't, which she was, a highlight. I do think it's because she's using that, hey, everybody, I'm Awkwafina thing as kind of a crutch, a little bit. Just a little bit. I kind of want her to branch out. Like, when you see her in something like The Farewell or something like that, it shows that, like, Awkwafina can do more than just play Awkwafina in every movie. That's all. That's what I mean. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying she's bad. I'm just saying I want to see it. You know what I mean? It's only... You kind of get used to when someone is typecast to play that character over and over. You're kind of like, I like this person, but I'm kind of sick of seeing. I'm kind of sick of that being the only thing you're doing. It's kind of the same way I feel about Liam Neeson, where Liam Neeson is always the best thing in his shittiest movie, but I kind of want Liam Neeson to play a different role other than the badass who goes and hunts somebody, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you say that about, like, let me just say this though.
Yeah.
If you say that about somebody like Jason Statham, you guys do not know him personally. You really don't.
But the thing is that Jason Statham still will slip in a bank job or a lock stock in there somewhere where he gets to do more than just be Jason Statham. That's my thing. It's like, or Spy or something like that. Awkwafina, I think, needs to not always just play Awkwafina. She has to slip in a couple more farewells in there. If she
I mean, sure, but it's
see what I mean.
Like, I get what you mean, but I'm not tired of her shtick yet. I'm not tired of her.
No, she's an incredibly talented person and a very funny person. I'm just saying I'm not saying.
No, I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying. We don't need to go too further into that. So.
It's just that wisecracking, hey everybody, I'm Awkwafina, New York. It's like I'm kind of done with that character. I kind of want her to do something a little different. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Just a little bit.
Fair enough. But yeah, let's go to your number 10.
My number 10. Oh right, we doubled up on number 11, right?
Yeah, so we had a Ride in the Dark at number 11.
Number 10 is another movie for the family. It's rated PG. It's a stone cold bummer, but it's rated PG, everybody. Number 10 is a movie that nobody saw. It came out a couple weeks ago. I got to see it a couple weeks before that early. It's another AMC Screen Unseen. I said it right that time.
There you go. You got it.
One Life. It's a British film. It stars the great Sir Anthony Hopkins, along with Johnny Flynn, who's always great, and Helena Bonham Carter, who is, I mean, come on, she's Helena Bonham Carter. She's awesome, right? And it's a really powerful story. It's a Holocaust story. The movie seems like when you go into it, it's cut from a familiar cloth of, it's a BBC produced true story about one guy who overcame Nazism to save people during the Holocaust. You think that's what it's going to be. And in some level it is. But what makes this movie more than that is its final act. Its final act is a fucking doozy of like epic proportions of just like, shut up, I'm not crying, you're crying, fuck you. Like, it's that level of like, that alone makes the movie great. But the thing is that the movie leading up to it is equal to it. It's a great story, well told, and it was kind of hilarious. I got to see it it came out a couple of weeks back. I think it was on the 15th of March. I got to see it the Monday before Kung Fu Panda came out, and a bunch of parents went to the PG Screen Unseen with their like 7-year-olds, thinking it was going to be Kung Fu Panda, and it was not. And so I got to watch a theater full of 6-year-olds. And there's no violence or anything in this movie. There's no profanity or anything. It's totally harmless, but the subject matter is about people die because it's the Holocaust. Like, the subject matter is heavy subject matter. The PG is actually means something in this. And they're taking 7-year-olds to this, and they have to stay. Like, the parents want to stay, and the kids in front of me are just like, crying and carrying on like, I don't want to watch this stupid stuffy BBC thing. I want to watch Kung Fu Panda. You told me you were seeing Kung Fu Panda. So Very funny. But yeah, great movie. And even they, when it got to the third act, quieted down, and the little boy in front of me actually said, you know what? That movie actually was pretty good when they were walking out. So maybe take your kids. Maybe make them stay to the third act. Yeah, but great movie. Number 10, One Life. Look for it. I believe it's Bleecker Street, so it'll be on Hulu. It's before that, it'll be on demand somewhere. So check it out. Also, if you're my friend from the UK, I'm pretty sure it came out last year, and it's probably on DVD where you are.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Number 9. Speaking of movies like where it's like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yep.
This one got me pretty good. Ordinary Angels.
Yay.
This one got me, dude. Like, I walked into this film, I was like, okay, I've heard good things, but the trailers did not sell me on it whatsoever. So,
and to be fair, the other examples of you should be going to church movies have not been promised, would not promise the goodness that is Ordinary Angels, to be fair to you.
I know, but right. Then again, though, like when I saw the trailer for this thing, I was like, okay, it's gonna be another preachy faith-based movie. Let's see how this goes. And then even by the third act, dude, like even like when we see how sick Michelle gets throughout this movie, because there's even a scene, spoiler alert, where she pukes up blood, and I'm like, oh my god!
Doesn't hold back. It doesn't hold back. It's
like, dude, I was like, oh my god! They really went there.
Yeah, for a PG movie, I will have to give it to them that they didn't hallmark this movie up. Like there is real tension in the real situation that is very
and with this kind of and also This is Hilary Swank's best performance in a long time. Like,
oh my god, she's fantastic in this movie. It reminded me
as
of
a woman who's basically going down the rabbit hole of alcohol, when she finds out that this little girl is very sick, she wants to help them.
What I loved about her character and her performance, and I don't know if this is licensed, I don't know if this is what the real woman did, but I love the fact that the movie gives no explanation for why she does it. She literally is just at a drugstore and is just like, you know what? I saw the newspaper. I want to help this kid. And there are scenes in this movie that if you had the wrong writer or the wrong actor, because when you see part of it in the trailer out of context, you're like, oh dear God, it's another one of these movies. But the way that it's in the movie, the scene I'm talking about is when she goes to the bank and convinces the woman to erase all their medical bills. That scene in the wrong hands with the wrong actor and the wrong writer could have been just modeling to the point of just like, you've got to be fucking.
It could have been a disaster. Like,
but it wasn't, because the words were just right and the way she said them was dead on. So it worked. It earned it. It didn't feel forced, you know?
Yes, and even by the end of this film, dude, I was legit really starting to cry.
Oh,
like,
man.
I literally turned to Justin. I told him to give me a hug because I was like, dude, I was like in legit tears of what I witnessed.
I also have to give them credit where credit is due as well for another thing, which is that I went in probably knowing the premise, assuming that the kid turned out okay. But I'm going to be honest with you. In that last half an hour, I kind of forgot that this was a true story and the little girl survived, because some of the tension of like getting the helicopter, I was kind of on pins and needles. Like, are they going to get the helicopter? Oh my God, are they going to get her there in time? Like, it was genuinely tense.
Like, that's why I was getting the tears, because I was like, there's no way this is going to work. Like,
and here's the other
but
thing.
It worked.
And the line in the trailer that actually, when I first saw it, went, ugh. Like, I rolled my eyes like, Jesus Christ, save me from this. In the context of the movie, when you see, that's the problem with a lot of trailers is you have to know the context of the scene for the scene to work. So, like, or not work, depending on the situation. The scene where, who's the guy? Reacher. What's his name?
Alan Ritchson.
Alan Ritchson. Okay. When the scene, the line, which is the trailer moment, that is like the trailer moment that makes you go, oh dear God, this is getting an A+ from Cinema Score, and I'm going to be that one asshole who hates it. But it works, is the line where, spoiler alert, because you've seen the trailer, the helicopter comes, and he turns to Hilary Swank, and he says, I just want you to know, you're not just worthy, Sharon, you're a miracle. That part made me cry my eyes out, and when I saw it in the trailer, I was like, ugh, you've got to be kidding me. And the reason it made me cry in the movie is because of context, because what he's referring to is another great scene earlier that's not in the trailer, where she gets drunk at their house and is talking about how, I just feel like I'm not worthy, my son. And we also don't know that she has a son who doesn't talk to her. So it's like, you know more about this character, and therefore she's not a manic pixie dream Hilary Swank that shows up and writes all their troubles away. She's a person that they give time and development to. So that at the end of the movie, when that moment comes, you care about her and you care about the dad, so therefore the scene works and it makes you cry. Because it's like, yes, it's true.
Yes, and And again, I know people have shied away from this one because it's another faith-based film. Guys, give this movie a chance. I promise you, it will sneak up on you.
I will tell you this: I am not an evangelical Christian. I will never be an evangelical Christian. I am not an atheist per se, but I am about as secular as a person who believes in God can be and not be an atheist. And I will tell you this: the fact that it was a religious movie has little to no bearing on how this movie works and doesn't work. It works as a movie. You could be someone who actively is an atheist and you will like this movie because it's really just a really good story. It doesn't need church as a crutch on it.
Yes, and I'm so happy with how this movie turned out. So yeah, number 9, Ordinary Angels.
Also, they went out. Is it just me, or did they also kind of cheat? And mind you, again, they even earned this, but then they kind of cheat a little bit by making the sick little girl the cutest little kid in the freaking world.
Yeah.
So you're like, please don't let this sweet baby die. Like, oh my god.
Like, that's why my heart was breaking more, because it's
so
like
cute.
she's such an adorable little girl. Like,
and here's the other thing, that kid, she played it like an actual little girl, unlike the girl who believes in Jesus, or who is like, mommy, today I'm going to heaven.
like, what the fuck is
Dead
that shit?
eyes. Like, what the
Okay, let's move on. So yeah, number 9, Ordinary Angels.
Dude, we need to move on. It's 9:00 and we haven't even gotten through the top.
Let's just briefly talk about the rest of them. Just really briefly.
Yeah, I think we should each give ourselves maybe like a minute apiece for each one. So number 9.
Yep, no, my number 9 was Ordinary Angels.
Oh, okay. So my number 9 is a movie I feel like I saw a lifetime ago, because technically I saw it in January of 2023. However, it did not get limited until January 2024. That movie is Sometimes I Think About Dying. This was directed by Rachel Lambert. This is based on a short film of the same name. And if you thought you loved Daisy Ridley now, watch this movie and tell me that she's not a phenomenal actor. Oh my god. As someone, I'm going to be real, if you don't mind. As someone who has anxiety like a motherfucker, very few movies, I think, get what being anxious feels like and the isolation that comes with being anxious feels like. There was a movie a couple years back called Pink Skies Ahead that nobody saw that got it. That was on my list that year. And this movie. These are the two movies that I think understand the most of how crippling it is to be anxious to the point where some days you literally do not get out of bed because you were just so afraid of everything you're going to say, do, or whatever. This movie gets it. It's powerful, and I'm glad this movie exists for that reason alone. But also, if that was all that made this movie good, that would be one thing. The performances, the screenplay. It's a small movie. It's not going to be for everyone, but I adored this film. Number 9, Sometimes I Think About Dying. It is now streaming. You can literally rent it now on most platforms. Go check it out. Really good.
I'll check it out. But number 8, this is one of 3 movies that I mentioned that are destined for cult status, and
I know
probably, I will say this, probably the most overhated film of 2024 so far, for absolutely no reason whatsoever. That is Argylle.
I agree. I like that movie.
I love this movie so much. Like, as a huge fan of Matthew Vaughn, I was like, bro, as long as you give me a good time, some awesome action, and some good comedy, you got it. And this movie brought me that.
It was so much fun. It was. And I do feel like this is a case, though, of, and this, you could argue that this is a flaw or a feature if you really look at it either way, but at 2.5 hours, it's almost too much of a good thing. It's a little too long. And
yeah, it's tad bit too long. That's like, again, just nitpicking.
Right, but it's also never boring. Like, it moves well. It's just that. But here's the thing: no studio-produced Matthew Vaughn movie is going to be as edgelordy and punk rock, and quite frankly, as terrific as Kick-Ass. That movie
exactly, yeah.
It's never going to happen again. But for a studio-mandated, in-check Matthew Vaughn movie, Argylle is pretty close. I mean, I have to give it to them. It feels like the vision of the filmmaker is kept.
It definitely does not deserve its 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. The fact that it's only has the 32% is a crime to me. Like, that is just a crime. Also, but overall, though, besides it being a little bit too long, I love Argylle, and I wish I got to see it again in theaters. But once it's Apple TV Plus, click, watching it again.
Also, you're welcome. By the way, also Dua Lipa dancing to Barry White. I mean,
also, can I call missed opportunity though for that scene? They should have played David Bowie's "Let's Dance" like they did in the trailer.
That's true, but I have to say
they should have done that instead, dude.
I was gonna say anybody with a penis, but quite frankly, I'm just gonna.
Fucking A, dude.
I'm gonna be real. Any sentient life form would look at that when they get to the line about there is only one like you. There's no way they could ever make two and go, you're goddamn right, you're Dua fucking Lipa.
That's right. But yeah, number 8, Argyle.
Good movie. It's not on my list.
Overhated as hell. Very overhated.
You, me, and Mark Kermode are in a lifeboat of like, yeah, this was good, and everybody else is like, what the fuck was that shit? We were like the three that.
Well, Mike enjoyed it. Mike enjoyed it.
Oh, Mike too. Okay, but like I'm saying, that I feel like that boat will have more passengers down the line. I agree.
Yeah, like at least like a couple of years down the. Give this movie a couple of years, it might become a cult favorite. Like,
all right. Speaking of anxiety, number 8 was a movie so good it actually gave me my first anxiety attack in a movie theater. Yay, movies! No, but legitimately, I was the only one in the theater. I had a pretty severe anxiety attack in the middle of it, and it was scary. But it was still a really good movie. Fitting In is my number 8. This is a movie that nobody saw. It's a Canadian film, and I have to say, after music, which I literally turned off after the first 10 minutes, between West Side Story, The Fallout, and now this movie, Maddie Ziegler is a fucking movie star, and I will watch her in everything. This is a great movie. This is like one of the realest coming-of-age films. This is one of those movies that you're sad that John Hughes isn't alive to see it. Like, because he would love it. Fitting In is fantastic. It's my number 8. Go see. It's available. It's on streaming, I think, but it's really good.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Number 7, the second of 3 movies that are destined for cult status. I'm gonna help you break a big murder case. Driveway Dolls. Again, also overhated in my opinion.
Who the hell are you? Democrats.
Who are you? Like, greatest line delivery. Like,
fucking love that movie. I'm sorry.
After Matt Damon is like, "Who are you?" Geraldine Whisper-Nathan, Democrats. Like,
also, can we agree that this is the best like out of fucking nowhere extended cameo by Matt Damon since fucking Euro Trip? Like, oh my god, this is great.
You're not wearing that.
I'm not here to sell my wares.
Yeah. I just came from work. I came from Toledo. I don't dress like it.
God, and see, there still is that. Also, the best line of any movie in the last 2 years. The cuts away for 5 seconds. Nobody comes back for Curly. Cuts back.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's fucking hilarious. Like,
I love that movie.
They know we have their stuff. Maybe we send it back, shake them down. Like,
hey Luke,
what's up?
So Curly here.
Don't call me Curly.
Your name's Curly?
Yes, that's a common name.
No, you fucked it up. It was the.
I know, I did. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Your name is Curly. He goes, my name is Curly. He goes, it's far too familiar. We just met.
I forgot about that. But yeah. But Driveway Dolls. Yeah, this one's definitely destined for cult status.
Also, the best movie Miley Cyrus has been in since Big Fish. Fight me.
Agreed. All right, you're number 7, sir.
Number 7 is a movie that I don't even know if I can talk about it in the sense of I did not see this movie by the most legal means imaginable. Okay, fine. Everybody has Google Drive. Fuck it. So I saw this movie a year ago. It is only now, I think Monday the 8th. It's going to start a city by city self-distributed roadshow limited release in the U.S. because nobody picked it up. It's a Canadian film. I like movies. It's my number 7. I saw this movie a year ago because it opened in Canada a year ago. Our friend Becca Harleen is from Canada. And she reviewed it with me here on this channel because she legally bought it and then sent me a copy of it in Google Drive. So basically, she legally bought a movie. She made an illegal copy for me to watch. That is on my hard drive right now. Great movie. I will totally see this if it comes to the Draft House. I will see it on the big screen and actually pay money to see it again. It's directed by Chandler Levesque. It is her first movie, and she said that she was inspired that she was inspired as a movie fan, and also she's on Letterboxd, so look her up. But I like movies, and I love this movie. I Like Movies is my number 7. A wonderful coming-of-age film, funny, and also it's a movie where our male protagonist, it's set in the early 2000s, he works at basically a knockoff Blockbuster, and the only thing he's looking forward to other than his new job is going with his best friend before school is out to see Punch Drunk Love.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
It's the perfect
easy praise for me then.
Oh, and also, he recommends the movie Happiness by Todd Solondz to a young couple, and then graphically describes the fact that Dylan Baker is a pedophile who's attracted to his own son. This guy, he's not the most socially graceful person in the world, and the movie knows it. So yeah, number 7, I Like Movies. Great movie. Check it out.
Okay, number 6. Here we go. Number 6, Perfect Days.
That should be higher, goddamn.
I know. But
I'm glad it's on there.
I see myself watching more than this movie.
It's the vibe movie you liked this year.
Yes, but I dug this movie. The performances are great. It's a beautifully shot film. It's well directed from Wim Wenders.
The soundtrack, though.
The soundtrack is great. The soundtrack really makes this movie for me. Only little nitpick, though. I thought it was a little bit too long. Cut down at least about 10 minutes of this movie, and then I think you would have had a much better movie. I don't think it needed to be 2 hours.
Maybe toward the last act, it got a little long. I will give you.
So yeah, I think it's just a tad bit too long.
Fair enough. But
other than that, though, it's a fantastic movie, and that you all should see.
Also, it's a return to form for Wim Wenders, whose last couple of movies have not quite been on the level. This is a return.
Funny enough, though. Wait, actually, let me just clarify and see if I'm actually correct on that. Really quick.
What was that one he did with Franco and McAdams? Because that was awful. And I don't
know what that was. Okay, but the only other 2 I had seen from Wim Wenders are Paris, Texas, which I liked, didn't love.
Oh my god, that's a great movie. That's one of the
and Until the End of the World, which I actually think is his best movie.
Till the End of the World. Have you seen Wings of Desire?
Nope, never seen it.
Okay, no, put that on your list because that's a good one.
I will. But yeah, number 6, Perfect Days.
Yeah. Paris, Texas is a fucking great movie. Anyway,
I liked it. I don't love Paris, Texas, though.
Number 6. I will always the movie that's on my number 6. That's on my number 6. My number 6 is a movie that reminds me of a great quote. There was a terrific documentary series that I believe is on AMC Plus. You should all watch, called Eli Roth's History of Horror, where he interviews famous horror filmmakers about their work. And it was Ari Aster when he was talking about Hereditary. He says that the stuff that happens in that movie is real divisive and real disturbing, and you really go for it. And he says that I make movies. I want to take my audience on a ride. And if they're not I'd rather 95% of them hated it, because I know the 5% of them that love it understand what I'm doing. Ari Aster, that is a perfect description of yourself. It is also a perfect description of another young filmmaker just starting out, Rose Glass, who in her sophomore feature proves that she's no slouch. Love Lies Bleeding is my number 6.
Still get to see it.
God, this movie's wild. It is the best lesbian action, crime, psychological horror, black comedy, bodybuilding, giantess, supernatural fantasy, Kristen Stewart with hairy armpits, Ed Harris in a bad wig, neo-noir thriller ever, and maybe only. I love this movie. It totally is batshit crazy, and I mean that in the best way. Following up Saint Maud, there was a lot of excitement from this guy's end, and a lot of skepticism. I'm like, how is she gonna do this? And what I love about her filmography now going forward is she doesn't rest on her laurels. She makes the most different movie imaginable. That the biggest takeaway of it is it's batshit. I love it. I love Rose Glass. I love this movie. I cannot wait for movie number 3. Number 6, Love Lies Bleeding.
Good pick, man. Still get to see it. But
I know.
But when it hits streaming though, I will watch it. I promise.
I know. His theater doesn't get. My theater barely gets anything. His gets less than anything I get.
But
So,
again, I'm still keeping my fingers crossed though. My theater more than likely might get Monkey Man. So
I feel like that's gonna go wide enough that I feel like everybody's gonna get that because it's a mainstream.
But funny enough, though, the theater that got the theater that I told you about that got the Holdovers and Poor Things is not getting Monkey Man for some reason.
But is it an art house theater though? Because they might not get it.
No, it's kind of a more it's a theater that holds a couple more movies more than mine does.
Okay.
But I know they do get some smaller movies from time to time.
So it's basically like the O'Fallon Theater, but with maybe less screens.
Maybe yes, but it just depends. It depends.
Yeah.
Okay. Another disagreement between Grant and I for my number 5. Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire.
That's your number. That's higher than Perfect Days.
Yep.
You're permanently banned from my channel.
No shame.
God damn you.
and I take no shame for it.
You are so easy to please, Ponto. It's hilarious.
Not always. Not always there, buddy. Not always. We'll get to that.
Felt like I was watching the Star Wars Holiday Special. It's just a bunch of monkeys screeching at each other with no subtitles. And then
yeah, like that's gonna please me.
And then exposition dialogue and bad CGI. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I loved Godzilla versus Kong. So I was curious to see what they were going to bring to the table with this movie. Actually, seeing Godzilla and Kong at some point in the film team up.
Far too late, but yes.
I mean, yeah, sure, but that still doesn't mean I wasn't entertained.
It's Kong: The New Empire with special guest appearance by Godzilla.
But also, like my only slight nitpick towards this film is some of the CGI, like the water, the water looked really fake, and I was just like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
But overall, though, as an overall kaiju film, where you get to see monsters fighting, and I didn't mind the human characters this time around. I didn't mind them. I know people will complain about that, but I did not mind them. I love Dan Stevens, though.
Well, that's the thing, is that the one thing keeping Godzilla Kong from getting a 0 and being hot, keeping it low on my worst of list, because we're going to talk about it soon, is Dan Stevens and the fact that Rebecca Hall and Brian Tyree Henry are good actors and they're trying. I don't think they succeed because their characters are just exposition machines and not humans, but they try.
I do not agree, but I mean, I still had a ton of fun with it.
Yeah.
But you got to give me this though. The final fight scene in the third act of this film was fucking awesome.
It was cool, but it was kind of like, you know when you eat a really shitty salad, but it has good cheese on it? And so you're like, okay, the salad tastes like shit, but I'll get to the cheese eventually. We got to the cheese eventually. That doesn't make the rest of the salad any less shit. Like, you know what I mean?
I still don't agree, but I still really dug this movie.
That's fair.
So yeah, my number 5, Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire.
You're not the only one, but
I feel like you're gonna be alone in that boat there, buddy.
Dude, look at the tomato meter. Does it look like it's in the fresh?
Well, between our group, you're gonna be the only one. Like,
I don't know. Anyway,
I'll just say that because mostly everybody else in our group chat really digs that movie.
Dude, 2 people in our group chat though also unironically like Madam Web. So let's not go there.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on.
All right. Number 5. Now for something completely different. Number 5 is a movie that you could argue came out last year. It was out for 1 week, I think, in the middle of it doesn't count. I'm so, unless it's to an audience that doesn't live in the vicinity of New York and LA, it doesn't fucking count. There, that's my rule. Origin is my number 5. I love this movie. Speaking of movies that are kind of academic, this movie just moved me, and I love this movie. I thought it was just a fascinating subject matter. I thought it had a fascinating. It was shot beautifully, shot on 16 millimeter. Just Ava DuVernay directed it, who of course did like Selma and 13th and Wrinkle in Time. We don't talk about that. Yeah, that movie ass. Guess what, guys? A lot of nerds are gonna hate me. The book sucked too. What? Oh no. Oh. Cope, nerds. Anyway. I had to read that shit in middle school, and I hated it then, and I hate it now. Anyway.
Continue.
But 300-foot tall Oprah. That almost made it worth it. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was just hilarious to see. Just Oprah like, hey, what's up, guys? Monster. Anyway. That being said.
Yep.
That nostalgia critic scream like, so great movie, great subject matter. Anjanou Ellis, fantastic. John Bernthal, always nice seeing him. He's great. And the other thing too is that the movie is a great movie. The experience of it could have been better though, because we were sitting in front of an army of teenage fucking racist pieces of shit who were like making bad jokes and walked out saying, and I quote, "Man, this movie was racist to white people." Go fuck yourself, you fucking asshole.
But yeah. So your number 5 is Origin?
Yeah. Man, baby. Anyway, yeah, number 5 is Origin. Go see it. It's really good.
All right, my number 4. Looks like I fucked up your leg. You're a shit driver. Wrong side of the road. Roadhouse.
Oh! I was gonna say, what the fuck is that? Oh, yeah. Roadhouse is not on my list, but I fucking loved it. It was awesome.
It was so fucking fun. Like,
it was just...
I agreed with what Mike said about the original Roadhouse. Like, despite the fact that
it's not very good.
It's not a great movie, but it's a ton of fun. But I can tell you, but that was a film that was prime for a remake.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I was glad to see that someone like Doug Liman was able to make a remake of of Roadhouse, and not only to get not only just to make it feel good and actually more like not just a great modern remake, but actually bring it to somebody for a new generation. Like what I loved really admired. But what I liked about this, though, let me just tell you this: getting the perfect actor to play Patrick Swayze's role.
I agree.
Fucking Gyllenhaal.
What I loved about this Roadhouse, first off, why the fuck was this not in theaters? Amazon, fuck.
Dude, bro, I would have killed to see this thing in theaters.
Dude, if they decide in a week from now to be like, hey, guess what? We're re-releasing it in theaters for one night. I am fucking there.
If my theater got it, dude, I would still go see this thing, man.
This movie, what I loved about this movie and what I love about it better than the original, because I'm sorry, Patrick Swayze was and always will be awesome until the end of time. That movie he is the only thing that movie really has going for it. It's not very good.
Like, it's a dated film, but I can still enjoy it though. Like,
it's but this movie, what I love about this movie is the original was dumb, but thought it was the coolest shit ever. The new one is the coolest shit ever, and it's because it is dumb. Everybody who made it knows it's dumb. The actors know it's dumb, and the script is funny, and the script knows it's silly. This is a movie that has a character pick up a 5-iron and then unironically say, "Well, gents, it's been a while since I went clubbing." Come on.
Yes.
I love it. And Billy Magnuson.
Also, can we say Conor McGregor almost stole the entire movie?
Dude, first off, thank you, because all the people, even the people who liked it, were like, "Oh yeah, it was pretty good," but Conor McGregor can't even walk into a room convincingly. If anything, he was the best thing in a movie that I already liked. I loved Conor McGregor,
Like,
and he was
but
just.
but at the same time though, he can't really outshine Jake Gyllenhaal though. Like,
No, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying that he's Sir Laurence Olivier or something, but I'm saying for the kind of
I
character he
know.
was playing,
I'm just saying though, he can't
so
really
much
outshine Jake
fun.
Gyllenhaal.
He knew
But, like,
exactly what movie he was in, and he was having fun, and you could feel it.
But let me just say this though, like, even though I was like, okay, we'll see what they do with this. But when I heard that Jake Gyllenhaal was in the lead role, I was like, I'm there. Like, don't say anything else. I am there.
And the supporting cast, like Daniela Melchior. Hi, honey. How are you? Seriously, Daniela, hit me up.
I'm
a
love
nurse,
Roadhouse.
or I'm a doctor. I'm going to tend to your wounds. Can you kiss them for me, sweetie? No, I'm just kidding. You can be my wingman anytime.
Yeah, number 4, Roadhouse.
Arturo Castro, very funny as the henchman. I love his line about how, yeah, he was a badass. He was really nice though too. It was like kind of like Mr. Rogers. If Mr. Rogers like fucked everybody up, it was like great. And then Billy Magnuson, who I love that dude. He's just always good. Well, Birth of the Dragon. He's almost always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie. Loved it.
Yeah, Roadhouse number 4.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. The name's Dalton. I thought you'd be a lot bigger.
You know Family Guy, right? Roadhouse. Anyway.
Roadhouse. All right, what's number 4, good sir?
Again, even though I like this movie, now for something completely different. This is a movie that is just like Roadhouse. I'm going to be perfectly just like Roadhouse. The Taste of Things is my number 4. A nearly plotless French romantic melodrama starring Juliette Binoche. Exactly the same thing. Set in the 1800s and about food. And 2.5 hours long. It's the exact same movie as Roadhouse. The Taste of Things, I saw at my art house theater the same day I finally had my first time seeing the Last Picture Show. Best double feature fucking ever.
Yes.
The Taste of Things is just... I'm going to sound so... Oh, Grant, you sound like the anti-Grant. I don't care. This movie is one of the most romantic, moving, sexy movies I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not just talking about the food. This is a great love story. It's a great piece of food porn. It's a great mentor coming-of-age story about this guy who is trying to deal with the fact that he loves his cook and the fact that when she gets sick, how he's going to wrestle with the idea of having to take on her responsibility of coaching this young woman to be her successor and all this stuff. And if it sounds like Merchant and Ivory, you're not this is not a movie for you. But I love this movie. I thought it was romantic and great. The food looked amazing, and I genuinely was impressed with how it had its heart on its sleeve, and it was earnest about it, but in a way that felt natural and not like the movie I'm reviewing tomorrow, where it's like, I'm going to say the sappiest thing to you, and my heart is on my sleeve, but I don't really mean it. I felt like the people in this movie meant it. Taste of Things is my number 4. Check it out. You have to read subtitles. It's a 2.5 hour French movie, so there you go. Number 4, right. The Taste of Things. Loved it.
All right, number 3. My
3.
most watched movie so far this entire year. I've seen it 3 times. I'm a beekeeper. I protect the hive. Sometimes I use fire to smoke out hornets. My number 3 is The Beekeeper.
Movie I also like.
Yeah, so I'm looking at you, Tyler, Mind of a Nerd, saying the movie's not that good. Bitch, you gave it 4 stars. Get out of here. You gave it 4 stars, buddy.
It's like Austin when we saw the menu saying, I loved it, and then a month later when we did the best and worst of this says, number 3, the menu, that movie sucked, it always sucked, and I said it sucked. Like, bitch, I have you on tape saying you liked it. Shut the fuck up.
I can see your Letterboxd rating on it there, buddy, too. So Get this. But yeah, The Beekeeper. This movie made me go on a big Jason Statham kick. Like I've been buying a lot of his films and
And you're
rewatching
still
quite a
on, kind of.
that I'm still on,
Yeah.
mind you. But I mean, it's thanks to this movie. Like, it
Oh.
made me remember why I love Jason Statham. Like, because I mean, after Meg to the Trench and Expend4 bullshit, I kind of forgot how much I liked Jason Statham because of how shitty those two movies were. But
Yep.
The Beekeeper made me remember why I love Jason Statham in the first place.
Cool.
So,
I like
and so I mean that's what made me go back and rewatch arguably his best movie, Crank. And look where I am now. It's in my top 5 of all time.
It's a great Crank and Crank.
Both of them are great. Crank and Crank too. I mean,
speaking of the
really quick, like I said, number 3, The Beekeeper. Thanks to this film, I'm a big Jason Statham fan again. So
I heard they're finally they announced that they're doing a sequel. I'm here for it.
I mean, when you see how the movie ends, though, they do set up for a sequel.
Totally.
So yeah, like give me my second Beekeeper. I'm up for it.
Yeah.
So good. So yeah, number 3, The Beekeeper. Also, really quick, I want to announce this really quick. Sorry, I know we need to keep going, but I want to announce this.
I'm sorry.
But later this month, keep an eye out for it, guys. Watch along for The Beekeeper. So
I might have to come for that.
Yeah, I mean, do you really? I mean, you want to see Jason Statham eat a dude off the bridge of this truck? That was fucking amazing, dude. The second time I saw that, I'm not even joking. The second time I saw The Beekeeper, when that scene happened, me and the entire theater that I saw it with erupted into laughter.
Dude, I love The Beekeeper as well. It wasn't on my list because I gave it 4.5 stars, but I loved it. What I loved about The Beekeeper is that a good 20% of my enjoyment of The Beekeeper was the fact that I saw it early in IMAX in a pretty packed house, and people were like cheering and having so much fun with it. And I walked out of it like, the reviews have not even come out for this yet, and I just have a feeling that I'm going to be all alone and say, but no, like critics were actually kind of cool with this movie. They kind of liked it. So
and you can definitely tell that you're not alone, dude.
Yeah.
But this is literally my highest 4.5 star movie is The Beekeeper. So, but I mean, that should just go to show you. I mean, people will be like, if you've seen it 3 times in the theater, it should be your number 1. There's films that actually either I related to more or that impacted me more than The Beekeeper.
I'd say my highest, if I'm talking personal ranking, I would say my highest 4.5 is probably Self-Reliance.
And that's fine. I didn't care for it as much as you did, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But okay, you're number 3 because we really need to keep moving.
Yeah, we do. We gotta. Luckily, I promise you guys, our worst stuff will be shorter because there's not.
There's one that. I'll just say this: we'll go like a little bit more in detail with our number 1s. How's that?
Yeah, that's fair. My number 3, and Ponto, once you hear me out, alter your list a little bit, bud. Come on, it's better. Perfect Days is my number.
Look, I know, but I'd rather watch Godzilla and Kong because I have more fun with it. Like, just saying. I am just saying.
Sure, Jeff. All right.
Okay, shut the fuck up.
So Perfect Days. I disagree, Gary. So Perfect Days. Speaking of movies that you could argue are kind of a stone cold bummer, you can take the family. It's rated PG. This is a movie that has no plot and doesn't need one because it is literally what I loved about this movie is that it is basically an ode to the beauty of the little things in life that we take for granted. And as sappy as that sounds, it is never once sentimental, really. It's just quiet and it's dignified. The lead actor, phenomenal. It's also a Japanese language film. We should probably
it's Japanese, yeah.
This is truly what I love about this movie is kind of what I love about other Japanese films, like, for instance, right after Drive My Car, in the sense of it's a movie that is about moments, not narrative. It's about a vibe. You're with these people on this journey and nobody's in a hurry to go anywhere. And I kind of admire that. And I admire it when it's done with this much raw humanity. And what I loved about Perfect Days is it's just this guy's day-to-day life. There's a motif, there's a rhythm, we go through that rhythm. We go through that motif. And there is an arc to what he goes through. He's not necessarily the same guy he was when it started, but it's not an arc necessarily. It's not a plot. It's still this guy's day-to-day. It's just some of these days are more significant. I love the rhythm, too, of that some days that we go through are the same as others. And then in there, maybe one of those days, he'll branch off into a little side adventure, like trying to sell some of his tapes, or trying to drive a guy to impress a girl that he works with, a young guy, or hanging out with his niece for a couple days while she runs away from home, or, you know what I mean? And it's not in any hurry. It's just kind of this guy's day-to-day, and he also cleans toilets. The other thing, too, is that it also made me really want to take a shit in Japan. Oh my god, those toilets look awesome. I'm gonna be nasty about it. Those toilets look like they're out of, like, Tron. I fucking love it. So yeah, number 3, Perfect Days. Great movie.
All right. So yeah, like I said, my number 2, my number 1 are my 5-star movies, and you can probably guess which ones they are.
Yep.
But my number 2, Lisa Frankenstein.
Nice.
I saw this. Yeah, I thought when I saw this movie in the theater with Justin, we were going to be the only ones in there. But there's these couple of people behind us, and then this family that brought some of their very young girls to the theater, and I was like, this is a bad idea. Like I could tell just from the forefront that it was a bad idea, but I was just enthralled with where this film was going from start to finish. Like, Catherine Newton and Cole Sprouse, I thought, were brilliant in this film. Also, want to call certified cool person Catherine Newton for liking and commenting on my TikTok of Lisa Frankenstein. So thank you very much. If it happens again with Abigail, that's number 2.
Love you, Catherine.
Yes, thank you, Catherine. You're certified cool person.
Awesome actor as well.
Yes, can't forget that.
Yeah.
But I mean, but to be real though, she's one of the sweetest people alive. Like,
she seems like it. That's hard to fake that. She just naturally kind of is likable.
She's very sweet. Like I can really sense that. But this is basically like if Tim Burton made Hellraiser. Like, this is basically like Zelda Williams made. Like, basically, here's the thing.
That's interesting.
This movie is basically a lot like Hellraiser when you really think about the plot. Like, because the fact that when Cole Sprouse comes back to life, he has a few missing body parts. So what they have to do is kill people for his body parts. And also the way that when this guy comes back to life in Hellraiser, the only way he can get his body back is if he feasts on human blood. So it's a lot like Hellraiser when you really think about it.
You know what it also reminds me of? There was a really terrific Netflix series that got canceled way too early called with Drew Barrymore called Santa Clarita Diet. That was like, it was a sitcom where it's a sitcom movie. It's like a 1950s sitcom, but the gimmick is if June Cleaver died, came back to life, and started eating the neighbors. And that's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's basically a good way to put it. But
yeah.
I mean, I love Diablo Cody as a writer. Like, she is one of the best writers. I think this might be my favorite from her in regards to her writing credits. This might be my favorite. Because in regards to the character of, like, let me just say this. In regards to Lisa's character and what she goes through before she meets Cole Sprouse when he comes back to life.
Yeah.
I related to her.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like, she lost her mother because of a serial killer. Not like by that front, but I'm saying what happened, when her mother was killed, she became very introverted. I relate to it, and because I'm an introvert myself, so I related to her.
I didn't point that out in my review, and I'm glad you reminded me. What I love about that plot point is the fact that it's a random attack by an axe murderer, never followed up on. Never brought up again. It's just some random act of, like, it's almost like getting carjacked. It's like, oh yeah, some random mass psychopath just bust in their house and kill their mom.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean,
which is funny. No, I think they did that on purpose as a joke, and I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, I'm glad with what, and also Zelda Williams. I can't wait to see more of your projects down the line because this was a fantastic debut.
You're so cool. Like,
yeah, so
yeah, listen to her in Chris Stuckman's interview on his podcast with her. She's a really cool person.
I'll check it out at some point because I really want to listen to that. But yeah, number 2, Lisa Frankenstein. It's on Peacock now, so for anybody that missed it in theaters, how fucking dare you? Go watch it.
A lot of you did. Be honest, you did.
No, but also I want to shout out Mike for a second because he also really enjoyed this movie.
Yay.
Which I'm happy about. But the weird thing is, he told me that his foreign exchange sister, quote unquote, and his mom hated the movie, and I was like, "That's understandable."
It's not.
But it's like, why? Like,
well,
I know it's not for everybody, but what's there to hate about this movie?
Well, I think that you also have to kind of have been someone who, at least lightly, was kind of a goth kid, like me. My mom is not a big Tim Burton fan. She appreciates his artistry. She doesn't really love his style of movies very much. She loves Big Fish. That's like one of her favorite movies. But otherwise,
that's my favorite Tim Burton movie.
Dude, top 10 favorites movies, period, for me. I love that movie.
Same here.
That's like a watershed movie in my childhood. But basically, she loves the aesthetic. I told her, like, I feel like you'd appreciate Lisa Frankenstein a lot more than you'd like Lisa Frankenstein. I think some of the parts might make you laugh, but I think that overall,
there's more things to, like, for some people, there's more things to appreciate rather than like about this movie. But for weirdos like us, we love this movie. So, like, I can just fully admit that. So, yeah, my number 2 is Lisa Frankenstein. Please, guys, go watch this movie. I promise you. You're not going to regret it.
If you're the kind of person who sits and listens to something on Spotify, and then the first track of My Chemical Romance is The Black Parade starts, and you are seriously tempted to just listen to the rest of the album right after, this is the movie for you.
Basically, yes. That's a good way to put it, man. I applaud you for that.
100%.
So yeah, that's my number 2.
My number 2, and okay, I won't go any further with what I was going to say there, but my number 2, hey Luke. It is written. Dune Part 2, baby.
Damn it!
My number 2, by a hair. It's my number 2. This movie is a fucking masterpiece.
But if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone right away, man, that is my number 1.
This is your number 1? Okay, let's just talk about it. I know this is, people are so tired of this cliche, like, oh, it's the X of whatever. This is the Empire Strikes Back of this series. It is better in every way. It deepens everything. It's darker. It's more. It's about more. It's thematically richer. It's politically richer. It's a movie that is a blockbuster of ideas in a way that very few can pull off, and they really pull it off.
And this movie is the reason why we go to the cinema.
Oh, absolutely.
And I could not be any happier with what we got out of this movie. Like, when Part 3 comes out, I know it's delayed. I can't wait to see what they do with the adaptation of Children of Dune. No, Doom Messiah. Excuse me,
Doom Messiah. Yeah.
I get those mixed up sometimes. I'm sorry. Yeah. Doom Messiah is the second book. Children of Dune is the third book. That's why I got those 2 mixed up. So.
Also, not only a great science fiction epic, also a really great classic Hollywood love story. Just genuinely sweeping and powerful. And Javier Bardem, I think he's a terrific actor. This might be his best work I've seen him in since No Country for Old Men. He's so good in this.
Yes.
Zendaya, who is also almost always good, never been better than here. Timothée Chalamet, great.
Austin
Rebecca
Butler,
Ferguson, terrifying.
Austin Butler, though.
Oh, dude, there's so much to talk about.
Steals the entire movie.
Austin Butler, once again, single-handedly takes a movie from the jaws of A-listers and just says, "This is mine now." Just like,
that's basically what it is, dude. He steals the entire movie.
I'm getting that Oscar if it goddamn kills me. Give me Dune Part 2.
And bro, his character in this film, terrifying.
Dude, okay, that initial introduction on that freaking black and white gladiator fight scene freaking shit. Oh my god, that was amazing. Holy shit.
And also, I want to point this out for future filmmakers out there that want to direct action movies. That is how you direct an action sequence.
Dude, I could actually see what was going on. Isn't that refreshing? Oh my god.
I mean, that's not a knock against the Beekeeper also, because you can see what's going on in the Beekeeper.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, sure, there's not like so much blood or gore or anything like that. You at least see what's going on, though, because, I mean, you have someone capable behind the camera in David Ayer. Like, he can direct action if you watch some of his movies. He can direct an action movie.
Absolutely. Dude, we got to get to my number one because we got to move on, bro.
I'm sorry, but it's like
it's okay. We're excited. This is a great movie. We're in total.
I love Dune Part 2, though.
It was my number one until I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. So you know what is my number one?
I know what your number one is now.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it, though. I'm not saying it. I know what it is, though.
What could top Dune Part 2? Well, there are some movies you see, and you know when you leave that you love them, but then as the days go on, and a week passes, and 2 weeks pass, and a few days pass, they climb, and they climb, and you find yourself not only saying, this isn't just a movie I love, it's a movie that I want to be a part of my personality. It's a movie that just genuinely, like, I want to see 1,000 times. I'm seeing it again on Saturday with Ryan. Ryan's back in town, and he doesn't know a thing about it. And I said, keep it that way, go see it. My number one is a movie that probably its budget could barely do a bagel on the catering of Dune Part 2, but it has no less of an impact. My number one, Late Night with the Devil. I love this movie so much. And like, it's one of those movies where I left the theater floating, because I'm like, it was that feeling of both, I saw a great movie, and I get to badger all my friends until they watch it. I'm so happy I get to do this. I get to tell people to see a movie that is like so freaking good. This movie, Kevin Smith summed it up. It's like if Rosemary's Baby and Network had a baby. Absolutely. Throw too many cooks in there while you're at it. Like,
yeah.
And David Dastmalchian. Can we talk about David Dastmalchian? Holy shit, what a great
one of the most underrated actors working today.
Everything about this movie, not just its premise, or the gimmick of its premise, because a gimmick or a premise alone does not a movie make. It's the fact that the Carnes brothers took the steps to make every step of the premise as clever, if not more so, than the premise itself. The people who are on the show that night. The way that they factor into the main guest, if you will. The way that the horror stuff happens because of the artifice of the show. Everything about this movie. It's funny. It's scary. There's not a single jump scare in it. It is technically proficient. And it is one of the rare horror films I've seen this decade where I saw it with a packed theater and everyone was kind of in collective agreement of, this movie kicked ass. Like, and it's a horror movie where everybody left the theater kind of like, man, that was good.
Yeah, there you
Late
go.
Night with the Devil, my number one. And one of my new favorite horror films of all time. I cannot wait to watch it this Halloween again.
But yeah, let's just. You want to just dive right into the worst list?
Yeah, but first I need to stand up and take a little stretch first. Oh, hello, OnlyFans.
Yeah.
You don't get this camel toe for free, baby. Okay. Oh, better. Got to work the legs to make them feel better. Okay, let me just. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm gonna switch angles, kind of. I'm just gonna like. Let's do this. There we go. I'm just gonna start it from sidelong, for a little bit.
There you go.
My feet wake up. That's the ticket. So, worst of, do you have dishonorable mentions?
Nope, none.
Do you only have a top 10?
Just the top 10, yeah.
I have 3 dishonorable mentions. And those are The Tiger's Apprentice. This is a movie. We're at the worst of right now, which means, real quick, which means, Luke, do you want to do the honors? It's the Angry Grant Show time.
That's right. Give me a minute. I know we need to hurry, but it's like because like we've been going so through our best of list. It's like I just completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
So let me see.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll do my dishonorable mentions because they don't require it.
Continue up.
Number 13, The Tiger's Apprentice. It's a decent idea that is fucked into oblivion by being only 83 minutes and clearly being rushed. Number 12, Lift, because I already forgot I watched it. And number 11, Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. This movie sucks. If it wasn't for Dan Stevens, this movie would be in the top 10.
All right, you ready?
This movie decent. All right.
Fuck you!
All right. Number 10?
Yep. My number 10, I'm not going to go into too detail with this one because I've already forgot it. Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. I already forgot it. It's
okay.
Not very good.
Haven't seen it.
So let's just hope Part 2 is better. But yeah, it's not good.
Would you say that it is to this list what my worst of last year, all year list was with Rebel Moon Part 1? Where I'm really not looking forward to the rest of this.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, look, who knows? We'll see what happens.
So my number 10 through 8 are movies that are so bad they're good. So my number 10 is a movie that most of you will not have seen yet because it does not come out until next Friday. But my number 10 is Sting. I don't know if this is unintentionally funny or if it's intentionally funny. Either way, I kind of had a ball watching it, but I will not say it's good because it's not. The only one who kind of got understood the assignment is Jermaine Fowler. But even then, if you want to see an actually funny horror comedy with Jermaine Fowler that actually is smart enough not to do the usual cliches, just watch The Blackening. It's so much better. So yeah, number 10. Not much needs to say about it. Sting. Let's just put it this way. It didn't quite give me the sting I wanted. And also, Robin Niven, what the fuck are you doing in this? You were in Relic. Come on.
Yeah.
The paycheck just can't be good.
Number 9. One of another disagreement between Grant and I. Spaceman.
Here we go.
I thought this film was extremely, extremely boring. There was really nothing much of value for me to be invested in. Look, Sandler, Mulligan, and Dano are fantastic in the movie, and the visuals are great. But there really isn't much of any value for this movie to really keep me invested into it.
Okay, there's one thing you've already said wrong there, Ponto. You said they're good in this movie. What you should have been said was all 3 of them are good in general. Because they are.
Well, I mean, they are, but it's like... Yeah. I was saying in perform. I'm just talking about the movie itself, not just not just in general. I'm talking about the movie. So
I got you. Go on.
But yeah, this movie, not good. I can't really envision myself watching this movie again, to be honest with you. But
yeah.
Again, it's not the worst thing ever. It's fine, but I don't know. Just wasn't a movie for me.
Spaceman is better than Godzilla Kong. What? All right. So that was your
move on, please. Go to your number 9.
Hey, Luke. I know this is going to be higher on your list.
Way higher because I already know what it is.
Stop snooping, Ponto. Number 9.
No, I'm not snooping. I just know what it is.
He's not imaginary, and he's not your friend. Imaginary.
Exactly, yeah. I'll talk about that later.
This movie is objectively and subjectively fucking bullshit, but it's one of those movies where in the right frame of mind, with the right friends, and maybe the right substances, this could be kind of a fun bad time, like a fun bad trip of a movie. But the characters are
Yeah,
awful.
but the problem with that is, though, for me, my theater was dead silent throughout the entire movie.
Dude, I was in a theater. I will admit, as much as I did kind of enjoy this movie for how bad it was kind of just like, I did get kind of frustrated one moment because we had like this army of these like 12-year-old girls, literally 12-year-old girls sitting behind me who were like, ah, this is scary. And I was just like, God, this new generation is fucking deteriorating. I just had that thought, that old man thought of like, really, bitch? Really?
Like, how was that even scary?
It's not. It is the most unscary horror film ever. Well,
I'd say it is.
Well, wait till we get to another one on my list, though. That might actually be
On
less
yours, but for me, it is.
From the same writer, too. There's your clue.
There's your clue.
No, but at
it's
least
on both of our lists. So keep in mind, guys, it's on both of our lists.
But that movie was stupid and morally reprehensible. This is just stupid. And this is harmless, stupid, sleepover bullshit. This is what I call the middle school first hand job horror movie. You're 12 years old, you take a date, maybe if you're lucky you'll get a hand job. And then you'll like the movie, and even because you're the one kid in school who got lucky because you watched it. And everybody else will think it's bullshit. They actually watched the movie as a movie. It's terrible. Number 9, Imaginary. It's bad, but it's kind of fun. Also, I have to acknowledge there is one good element in it, and it is that Imaginary Land is kind of kick-ass. I'm not gonna lie.
It looked cool, but it's not much of a redeemable factor for my book.
Considering how the budget they had, they did kind of a pretty good job of making that actually look kind of unique.
Like, I will give you that, but again, not much redeeming factor in my book. So
yeah.
Again, speaking on disagreements, number 8, Mean Girls. I thought, look,
God damn it,
there was one good song, which was from Renee Rapp at the very beginning when she was doing the Regina George song. That was pretty good.
You didn't like the Janice song? I thought that was by far the best.
I really did not like really any of the songs.
Well, actually, can I actually tell you? You know, the one song that I have to disagree with you on. The songs were not spectacular. There's one song though that I thought that actually got me. Maybe I'm just a softie. It got me choked up, and that was, even though I thought the way it came into the movie was kind of tonally off, it still affected me. The Gretchen's solo number when they're in the closet, that was really moving. I thought that genuinely was a really good song about being an introvert whose friend is toxic, because I've been there before. And that was kind of moving, I thought. But yeah,
that was fine, but
yeah.
And Renee Rapp and Ollie Cravalho, I thought, were the best parts of the movie in regards to performances.
Renee Rapp is the reason this got 5 stars and not 4, quite frankly, because she was terrific in general. She was really cool.
Yeah, she was great in the movie, and again, it's well made. Yeah. But I didn't find the movie funny. I did not like any of the songs. I didn't really even like any of the characters.
No.
This, like I said, was just like Spaceman. It just wasn't for me.
But did you really like the original? Are you a fan of the original, or are you just like, yeah, it's fine? Because
I really like the original, but again, like I said earlier, though, I'm not like. But it's not like a special thing for me, like it is for a lot of people.
Well, because that's the thing is that the thing is, I would agree with you on the characters, except that they're the same characters from the original movie, though. Like, if you like the original movie, you like those characters, and they're playing them pretty faithfully to the way they were in the original movie. You know.
Yeah, but just not as funny.
Fair enough.
And not as clever as the original. So
I will agree with that. It doesn't have what I loved about the original. My aunt made a good observation where she really liked it, because I saw it a second time with her, and she said it was really good. But I was missing the kind of mean edge the original had. It just was kind of softened. I'm like, I kind of agree with that to some extent. That, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Number 8?
Yep.
Hey, Luke, I'm going to describe to you in one sentence why my number 8 is actually secretly a masterpiece. My name is Cam. So, Luke, You see, I'm going to break down to you why this is the greatest movie ever. Let me see if I can do it concisely. You see, his name was Ezekiel Sims, and he was in the Amazon with Dakota Johnson's mother while she was researching spiders right before she died. You see, she was researching spiders not after she died, but right before she died. And it was in the Amazon with this guy, Ezekiel Sims. That's why this movie is good. Madam Web.
If you want to kill two birds with one stone, that's my number 7, is Madam Web.
Yay!
It's so hilariously terrible. Like,
of all the movies on this list, they're all bad. It is the one that would be
like
the
I would
easiest
actually
for me to rewatch.
This is like one of the only ones on the list in regards to the worst. I think this is actually the only one I would actually not even be mad about watching again. Like,
I'd buy this movie, quite frankly.
I'm going to own. I mean, no doubt in my mind, I'm going to own Madam Web. Like,
we should do this is. I'm telling you right now. I know that for those watching the second channel, like, we're gonna do it eventually. We gotta do this as an episode of Bad Movie Nights one night.
We're definitely gonna do Madam Web.
We have to. We have to make all the Ezekiel Sims jokes. Let's break down some of the delightful batshittery of this movie. So Ezekiel Sims, the year is apparently 2003, which means it's 21 years ago. That's a long time in the grand scheme of things. I was about 10 when 2003 happened.
That's actually when I was born.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a while ago. And technology has advanced quite a bit. So Ezekiel Sims apparently has that Lucius Fox Batman tech from The Dark Knight where you can like ping every single cell phone in the universe and find people, but the one kryptonite to his foolproof invention is like a normal suburban house where Adam Scott lives. Adam Scott, who is my friend, Mr. Ben Parker. I'll just pause there. And we're a Spider-Man movie. We're kind of sort of in the Spider-Man universe. Do you get it? Hey,
yeah, but
hi, Emma Roberts. What's your name? I'm Mary Parker. Oh, she's pregnant. Oh, this little guy is leaping around in there. You get it? Don't say Peter. Never once say Peter. Spider-Man. Get it? I said fucking get it? Pepsi. Drink Pepsi, goddammit.
We should move on, though.
Yeah, we should.
We're digressing.
It's a movie that's so bad I kind of love it. Madam Web is my favorite.
It's so bad that I love it, dude.
I love that movie. It's terrible, but I love it.
All right, numbers. You can go to your number 7 because that's my number 7 is Madam Web.
Okay, excuse me. This is my moment. Number 7. How Now Brown Cow. I got to get into character for this one. Number 7.
I know what it is.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Mark Wahlberg. You know me.
Yep, I knew it.
I'm going to go talk to movie reviewers. Hi there, Luke. It's nice meeting you. Say hi to your mother for me, okay? I made a shitty dog movie where the dog is barely in it. But I know you're going to like it because my face and a dog's face are in that. There doesn't need to be a plot. It's okay. You'll like it anyway because it has Mark Wahlberg and a dog in it. Isn't that right? I thought it was. Anyway, nice to meet you. Say hi to your mother for me, okay? Arthur the King is my number 7. Fuck that movie. No more needs to be said. You're wrong. Terrible fucking movie. And I love dogs and I love Mark Wahlberg. This should have been easy. And I love Simu Liu. Fail when midway through the movie, Natalie Emmanuel, again, too good for this. Natalie Emmanuel's like, yay, go team! My dad has cancer. Do you want to go spend time with your dad? No, we're going to run the race. Okay. Terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself, all of you. The fact that this movie got good reviews, you all... Shame. Shame. Okay, I'm done. That's my number 7.
You're really digressing too much on that movie, just saying.
It's okay. Hey now, you got to praise it. Now I told you I was going to torch it. Did I not? You were prepared. You were prepared for over an hour that I was going to come back to this. Okay.
We'll get ready for a certain movie that you just talked about not too long ago that I'm gonna roast.
Number 6. What's your number 6?
This is not that movie, but this is another movie this is the same movie you already forgot. Lift.
It is the most. It is the least a movie could possibly be and still legally be called a movie.
It's terrible.
It's a product. It's you know
just
what it is?
Yeah, it's just a product.
We're wasting more time talking about it right now than they did writing it, scripting it, making it, doing anything involved in it. Just let's move on. Does anyone care?
Number 6.
Yeah, let's please. Number 6. Now a movie that was almost so bad it's good until the ending happened. Number 6 is Night Swim. Fuck this movie. Fuck Bryce McGuire for taking a genuinely kind of creepy short film and turning it into a movie that at its best is Lady in the Water era Shyamalan, and at its worst is something that even that period's M. Night Shyamalan would say, that's fucking stupid. It's terrible. Spoiler alert, everybody. The pool is not the monster in this. It's the water. Don't drink water. It wants to eat your family.
Yeah, fuck this fucking movie. I'll talk about that in a little bit.
The one thing I'll say for it is, again, well, I can't even say they're good performances, but I feel like they're trying their best. I like Wyatt Russell and Kerry Condon. Hi, Kerry Condon.
Again.
They're trying their best, not succeeding. They are really taking the paycheck on this. The one person in this, I cannot think of her name at the moment. She plays the daughter. I could see.
Oh, you're talking about Izzy, the daughter. Yeah, that's the daughter.
Yeah. I could see that actress being.
Oh,
good.
how did I remember the name? Magical. Yeah.
I could see her actually. I have a feeling that down the line she's going to be one of those actors that I see in something and I'm like, oh yeah, you were in Night Swim? Like Jack Rayner, after I saw Transformers 4 and I was like, and then I saw Sing Street, I'm like, oh, it's that guy? Damn, that's an improvement. I feel like down the line she's going to get that movie where I'm going to be like, oh, you were in Night Swim? Oh, well. Oh, okay. You're really good in this. She has potential, but yeah, everything else about this movie. That little fucking fuckboy younger kid. Fuck that kid. He was a tool. I hope the water got him. Stupid idiot. He was a dumbass. Anyway, number 6 is Night Swim. Fuck that kid. Number 6 is Night Swim. Go on.
All right. My number 5, probably a movie that no one has really heard of or talked about because I never hear anybody talking about this, and probably for good measure, Role Play.
Is that the one? I think I haven't seen it, but I think it's saying something that I didn't know that movie existed until 2 days after it came out, and it has talent on the level of David Oyelowo and fucking Kaylee Cuoco in it. And I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, and it is one of the worst action comedies of all time. It's terrible.
Damn.
It's really that bad. So if you guys think, oh, it's a pretty harmless action comedy, no.
No.
If you guys want a good action comedy to watch, just go fucking watch Crank. Please.
Watching the trailer, I just felt like this is like.
Actually, hold on. I got a better one. If you guys want a good action rom-com to go watch The Lost City. How's that for you?
The Lost City, but the other thing is, when I was watching this, I was just like, this is the epitome of mommy, we want Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We have Mr. and Mrs. Smith at home.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith at home blank.
Right. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith if it was made by people who didn't know how to make a good. And again, this comes from who hasn't seen the movie; he's just seen the trailer. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith if it was made by people who weren't trying.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, number 5, Role Play. Fuck this movie.
Cool. Number 5. A sequel to a long ago cult favorite is probably not going to suck when 1, it is released the same day as its TV spinoff, and 2, the existence of both were revealed a week before they came out. I think you know where I'm going with this.
I know what it is.
Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Megamind versus the Cock Syndicate. Fuck this movie. This irritating.
I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Hey guys, Megamind, great character. What are we gonna do? We're gonna have almost our whole movie really be about the most annoying fake influencer kid. Which, by the way, okay. So I'm often wrong. Megamind the original came out in 2010. Yes.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, but by that logic, it's per set, I suppose, in 2010, right?
Yes, you're right.
Didn't they establish at the beginning that this is like happening moments, if not maybe a couple of days after the first one?
That makes no sense.
Why the fuck is there an influencer kid? Instagram didn't fucking exist in 2010.
Yeah, fuck this.
Yeah, like this movie doesn't even get its own basic timeline right. Easy shit. It's boring. It's not funny. Once. I think there was maybe one moment where I was kind of smirked a little bit. I'll tell you what.
I didn't get one laugh or smirk out of this thing.
I got a smirk from, I think it was a physical comedy gag involving Minion that I kind of was like, okay, that's kind of funny. The rest of it, and also, by far, I felt really bad for his character because the whole movie, like, he's getting shat on and he has a chance of having, like, a better life, and he just decides to stay with the people who are treating him like shit because I guess he has to. Go fuck yourself, movie. Just fuck this. Also, the guy who played Megamind was Will Ferrell, right? In the original?
Yeah, in the original one, it's Will Ferrell.
The guy who does the voice, bless his heart, he's doing the worst Will Ferrell impression. It doesn't even sound like he's trying. It sounds like he's doing a Tony Hale impression more than a Will Ferrell impression.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's just fuck this movie.
Number 4. You talked about this one a little earlier. Night Swim.
God, it's just hilarious.
It's a terrible film. I only got one unintentional laugh, which was the opening scene. Everything else outside of that is boring as hell.
Oh, I got at least 2 because I got the opening scene and then also Marco, you're the one I Paul.
The more I think about that scene's actually pretty funny. Like, I can't lie.
The lady in my row turned to me at that point and gave me the biggest smile ever because people were like just kind of watching it and nobody knew if they could laugh at that point and I couldn't help it. Like, supposed to say pull out, I was just like, like out loud in the Dolby, and she turned to me and was like, nice. Like she didn't like the movie either. She's like, finally someone acknowledges it's stupid.
You were supposed to say Polo. Fucking yay.
Well, actually, that part wasn't even nearly as funny as the part right before it, which is when she's running, and again, bless this actress, where she's going like, oh my god, like my dad, but he's actually acting, and then you see Wyatt Russell walks in, and he's just standing there, and he's just like,
Marco?
Just like, what the fuck, man? What are you doing?
Like, he's just out there, he's like,
God
Marco.
Wyatt Russell.
But yeah, fuck Night Swim.
Oh, so unscary.
This is like when you think of movies that were released in January, you're just like, this is a definite January movie. Like
this movie makes me like movies like Megan even more because they actually are surprising in how good they are. This movie is totally predictable as a first week of January horror movie.
All right, go to your number 4.
Number 4. Hey Luke, I have a question for you.
What?
An animated film that's more irritating than Megamind. Go. Okay, you didn't took too long. The Jungle Bunch, Operation Meltdown. Go fuck this movie.
And I watched 20 minutes of it with you.
You listened to 20 minutes of it, which is enough.
No, technically I still watched it though because you showed me things.
Yeah, that's true. This movie, every image in this movie, the animation is so unintentionally terrifying that watching this movie, and also shrill, like the opening scene, first and foremost, in the opening credits, they misspell the word "and" with an S. What the fuck? This is a movie I saw in a movie theater, people, by myself. The funniest part of this experience, because I walked into this theater. It was a theater I'd never been to before in Alton at like 2 p.m. Nobody was there. It was like February. Nobody was there. I was sitting there. I walked up to this ticket lady, and it was one of those situations where you buy your ticket, you scan your ticket where you get your snacks. So I was buying popcorn. I was like, oh, what? I got the ticket. And he goes, okay, what is it? And she looked at my ticket, looked up at me, not looking up from her glasses, just like this young woman, and gave me a look like, why the fuck are you seeing this? Like, and because 1, nobody saw it, and 2, it's like, it says like, we're gonna treat you. People were let me put it to you this way. People were telling me to take my hands out of my pockets as I was looking at me like, take your hands out of your pockets. I know what you're gonna do in there. Like, it was embarrassing. I looked like a pedophile going to see this by myself in the middle of the day with like nobody around, and then sitting through the credits because it's my fucking job. And the guy came in and he goes, "Oh, the dude's still here, and he has a freaking mop." I'm like, "Ha, go fuck yourself." This movie, man, I would have better luck going to a porn theater at this day than seeing this movie. And from the moment it started, it was like, "Hey, everybody!" Like, oh my god, terrible, 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 terrible. The one good thing about it was the gorilla. He was my baby. He was the closest. He was kind of funny, and he was adorable. The other characters. And here's the other thing. I thought I had never heard of this franchise. This is a movie that is a sequel to a movie that was itself based on a long-running French animated show that aired for one season out of its 7 seasons on Universal Kids for like a couple of months. So the audience is limited for this. I don't even think the first one was released in this country. I don't know why this actually got kind of a wide release. But
That's weird.
I went to see it. By the way, the next movie in that sweepstakes is coming out this weekend, that fucking Epic Tales. I have to see that shit. At least I'm seeing Wicked Little Letters afterwards. But it's a movie that, like, I thought I never heard of this. It turns out I was wrong. Because I remember years ago, Mark Kermode reviewed the first one, because I guess it opened in Britain. And when the movie started, I was like, oh my god, this is that movie that he was talking about. The dude who's a penguin who's raised by tigers and painted like a tiger.
Yep.
And this movie, the gorilla was adorable. Everything else about this movie was the creepiest shit ever. You saw some of the animation? Did that look theatrical level to you? It was nightmare fuel. It was unnatural.
That looked like how you said with the Baker, where it's like it should go, like it's direct to DVD, and then it's just gonna go down until it's in the dumpster. Like
it should go. I think Roger Ebert said it best in a review of one movie where he said something decent. This is a movie that, if anything, should have gone direct to video and then kept going and then going and going into the stratosphere and then blowing up before it could find its way back into the universe. Like, it's so bad.
That's basically that movie.
Yeah, number 4, Jungle Bunch. Operation Meltdown. You haven't heard of it? Keep it that way. It's not worth it.
Number 3, speaking on creepy and not in a good way, Miller's Girl.
I almost saw it while I was on vacation. It was the only time it was playing was on a day where it was between go to see that one or go see the Zone of Interest the one day it's going to be there that you're also going to be there. I'm like, I'll see Zone of Interest. I think I made the right decision.
You clearly did, because this movie, Mommy, we want Indecent Proposal. We have Indecent Proposal at home. Indecent Proposal at home, blank.
It looked like a really shitty remake of Lolita from the trailer.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega wants to try to seduce Martin Freeman. And here's the stupid thing: her friend is the one that is the one that's like, yeah, you should fuck him. And then towards the end of this movie, I'm not even kidding you, Grant. I'm not even fucking joking you. Towards the end of this film, like her friend is crying and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And I'm like, "What? You're the one who said to do it."
You know what? You're making this movie. I might watch this movie. You're making this sound kind of awesome.
Like, dude, I'm not even joking you. That is exactly what happens.
Wow. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to be real. Maybe it's because I'm a fucking adult, and therefore... And maybe this is a good thing. Maybe I don't need to go to therapy, because... Maybe it's just because I'm a fucking adult, and I don't find people that are considerably younger than me attractive to the point where it's pedophilic, but there's also this whole idea with Miller's Girl where it's like, oh, this is it. This is how Jenna Ortega grows up. It's the same with Finest Kind. It's like, Jenna Ortega is too young looking to me to pass as a sexy character. She's too young. She's too young and too Disney Channel-y. She hasn't reached that point to me where it's like, you can play Sharon Stone in this. You know what I mean? It's not that point where you're like, you look too much like a child. it just feels creepy. Even if it's done, even if you're technically an adult, which she is, it still feels kind of creepy because it's just like
it is creepy.
You're not. You have a young looking face. You look younger than you are, so it just looks weird. You know what I mean? However you slice it, it just looks like pedo bait. This movie.
Yeah,
she's a fine actress, but she's young. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I hate this movie. It's disgusting.
No.
So
come on, Jenna Ortega. Your career is too good right out the gate for you to start doing shitty movies now. Between this and Finest Kind, like come back, make Fallout again, or something of a similar type of quality. Dear God.
All right, so
we're
we really need to breathe through though, because I have to get going here in a few minutes.
Yeah, so do I. Number 3.
Yeah.
Was that your number 3?
Yeah, that was my number 3.
My number 3, Luke. We're going to disagree on this one, but look. This is the controversial pick, I guess. I almost saw this movie at Sundance. I'm really glad I didn't pay $30 to watch it, especially since it was on Hulu for free, but I know, guys, you don't hate me. I know some of you already do, but I am sorry. Some pretentious indie coming of age movies you go for, and some of them are fucking Suncoast. I hated this movie. Now, let me be clear here. Nico Parker is wonderful in this. Nico Parker is a young actress that I think has a very bright future. Between this and The Last of Us, she's a talented young woman. She should stay far away from movies like this because they do nothing for her. This is a movie, this is one part of that subgenre I hate. You know this, Luke, of sensible, good-hearted people wanting any semblance of independence and having that being taken from them by other people around them and other circumstances around them to the point where they conform. I hate those movies, and it's not... Suncoast is totally that kind of movie. This is a girl who wants to have some kind of social life, have some kind of coming of age of some kind, and for that, she is emotionally abused by her mother, called a whore for literally going to one party with her friends, which every kid has done, and also doesn't even, spoiler alert, doesn't even get the decency for her brother, who she has dedicated her entire youth to taking care of, getting to say goodbye to him, because he fucking dies the one night she decides to stand up for herself and go out. Woody Harrelson is in this movie to be a magical older gentleman who just shows up and spouts life advice and is a totally disingenuous character. This movie, I didn't buy a minute of this thing. It was dishonest. It was vapid. It almost was like a parody in that this is the kind of movie that people make fun of good Sundance movies for. This movie. I hated this movie. It was mean-spirited. I just sat there, and even the stuff with her and her friends, it was just vapid. There was no character there. I just didn't feel it. It just didn't... It wanted so badly to tug at my heartstrings, and it was just going about it every step of the way the most wrong way possible. So, thumbs up to Nico Parker, but thumbs down to this. I just hated Suncoast. I'm sorry. I just hated this movie.
Yeah, whatever. But my number 2, I'm just going to say it and move on because you already talked about it, and basically what you said sums up my thoughts. Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate.
It's just terrible, right? It's just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah, it was a bad TV pilot. That's all it is. Literally, that is what it is.
Yep.
Number two. Come at me, motherfuckers. Christspiracy. You can have this movie. I don't care. Have it. Take it. It's yours. I am not a bad person for not liking a shitty movie just because it maybe has a good message. Because it's a good message wrapped inside of a documentary that is not a documentary. It is fake. It is conspiratorial, and it is not a movie. It is an act of... This movie is not about this guy's love of animals. It's about this filmmaker's love for himself. It is an act of masturbation. That is all this movie is. This is the kind of guy that has you know that famous South Park episode where Butters is bullied by his grandma, and they're trying to do an anti-bullying film, and everybody keeps telling Stan, like, you better be careful, man, you're going to end up jacking it in San Diego. And then he does. That's the filmmakers of this. It's like, it's the cinematic equivalent of watching someone smell their own farts and talk about how great they smell. It's terrible. It's so... I would not have been surprised if the last 15 minutes of this movie is just him with my $10 on the table, dropping his pants and just jacking it onto my $10. Like, it's that level of... terrible Christspiracy, go fuck yourself movie. That's my number 2.
My number 1, you probably already guessed what it was. It's Imaginary.
Yep.
It's terrible.
It's pretty bad.
It's one of the worst horror films I've ever seen in my entire life. It's not scary. I could not even tell you how many times I wanted to walk out of this theater after the first 20 minutes. Even after the twist was revealed, I actually almost got up and left.
And I'm also wrong to say that just about every single character is a fucking asshole in that movie, too.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes all the worst possible choices. Like, yeah.
Yeah, fuck this movie. I'm done talking about
Pretty
this.
bad.
Because I actually have to get going here because I have work in the morning, so.
Okay. One more movie. Number 1 for me. Just sit tight, okay? Another controversial pick. Sometimes a movie doesn't even need to... Sometimes a movie can tell you, by looking at its title, its level of quality. My number 1, Land of Bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Madam Web was going to be the worst movie I saw this Valentine's weekend. Oh, how wrong I was. Land of Bad is a movie that it's an action, it's a trapped behind enemy lines war movie where the most interesting story arc going on is Russell Crowe buying groceries for his pregnant wife. Russell Crowe phones in this performance. It is also the most Islamophobic movie I've ever seen. It's the kind of movie where, like, the terrorists in this movie, their dialogue could literally be Durka Durka Muhammad Jihad with very little change. It's that, and Liam Hemsworth, even on a good day, is not a leading man. I am sorry. You're not your brother, bro. You gotta stop. You just got to. You're just not, it's not it, man. It's not. So, yeah, number 1, Land of Bad. It's just a hateful, stupid movie that's also very badly shot. And yet, critics liked it. It got a 65%. I don't get it. It's terrible. Number 1, Land of Bad. Hated it. And that'll do it, folks, for our 17-hour-long stream on the movies that came out literally in the last 3 months. Thank you, Luke, for coming. I appreciate it. We have more stuff coming down tomorrow. Speaking of bad movies, someone like you will review tomorrow. And Monkey Man and a lot of other cool stuff. Wicked Little Letters. But we got to go. It's 10:30. We got to bounce. So take care, everyone. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to Luke's channel. Subscribe to the main channel. Love you all. Take care. Take care of your mental health. And let us know what you thought. What's your worst movies and your best movies so far this year? Let us know in the comments. Yeah. Take care. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming, man.
No problem.
Peace.